Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is 8 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. I am Brian Wilson. It is, 15 days till Christmas? 14 days until I have my last full-time program here on the show. So that'll be my last full-time show. And then going to take a few days off and do some Christmas. And then the transitions will all begin. But I'm in the chair now until they take my cold, dead fingers from around the microphone. No, I'm just teasing. I'm happy to be here, and we're gonna continue to give you everything we got up until that day. I want to start by talking a little bit today about the whole transition. As you know, when we were with you last week, there for a while, it didn't look so good for Pete Hegseth. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard was going to have a little problem. Maybe RFK Jr. is going to have a little bit of a problem. I don't know. I look at it now. Kash Patel, they talked about that one being a difficult. But you know what? Everybody seems to have gotten in line. Everything seems to be okay now. Why is that? Well, number one is I think Donald Trump has a tremendous amount of clout within Republican Party. And if you start talking about, well, I may not be able to go along with all of your nominees, you run the risk of irritating the incoming president, who has a lot of clout and a mandate from the people to change things, to bring in agents of change. And so, what you have seen in the last few days is Republicans, mostly Senate Republicans, getting in line on this. Now, I'm not sure that everybody's going to get every Republican vote, but I'm beginning to believe, and I feel fairly certain that all the nominees that are out there so far will be confirmed. I'll tell you somebody else who believes that, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas.
I expect a Republican Senate is going to confirm all of a Republican president-elect's nominees. I had a good meeting last week with Pete Hegseth and with Pam Bondi. I know many of these nominees. 2 Arkansans have been nominated as ambassadors: Marco Rubio, Kelly Loeffler. Doug Collins and I served together. In fact, if you go back 32 years to Bill Clinton's transition, there are only 2 nominees out of 72 cabinet secretary nominees in which senators of the president-elect's party voted against him. So no one should be surprised that a Republican Senate is going to confirm the Republican president-elect's cabinet secretaries.
That's right. So now there was real concern about Pete Hegseth for sure. There for a while, it was, as I said, a very fluid situation, and I said he was on the bubble. Well, that all seems to be ancient history now. This from ABC News. Pete Hegseth, Trump's embattled Pentagon pick, appears to be gaining GOP support. President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks were back on Capitol Hill Tuesday. That's today, to shore up support among Republican senators, including Pete Hegseth, his embattled choice for defense secretary. Hegseth last week faced significant headwinds after new allegations arose, but ABC News has not independently confirmed magazine reports from The New Yorker, and Hegseth denied many of the allegations. But he may be gaining some ground back. On Monday, one key Republican senator appeared to soften her view toward Hegseth. I told you that a lot of people would look very closely at Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, a member of the Armed Services Committee, a combat veteran like Hegseth. She previously said that she wasn't quite there on Hegseth, but after their second meeting, she said she'd be supporting him through the process. I don't know if I would call that a full-throated endorsement. The process is up until the time you take a vote. In other words, is she saying, and I believe she is saying, that she now supports Hegseth's nomination and will support him throughout the entire process, including the vote, or will she say that the process will take us up to a vote and then we'll vote our conscience? I'm not sure, but it seems to me that she's getting on board, and she seems to be laying the groundwork for a vote in favor of Hegseth. Hegseth said today that he would not presume to speak for Ernst, but I appreciate the time, the amazing conversation. Foreign Affairs, combat vet, welcomed all of her insight, he said, while moving between meetings in the Hart Senate office building. Political pressure has ramped up on Republican lawmakers to back Trump's Pentagon choice, as a conservative group with ties to Elon Musk is spending about $500,000 on a new ad pushing for Hegseth's confirmation. An ad urging viewers to call their senator and push them back to Hegseth will run on national television, but will be targeted online in Iowa, Ernst's home state. So Trump is in this thing to win it. He's got to push. He's got to push as hard as he can to make sure that Pete Hegseth has a good shot at getting this thing through. It now seems like Trump is on board. It seems that Joni Ernst is on board. Everything is looking pretty good in that regard. So there is that. So that's just Pete Hegseth. Let's see what else we got here. Another story from Newsmax. Hegseth moving positively toward confirmation. Pete Hegseth's nomination for Secretary of Defense appears to be gaining support. Punch Bowl News reported. As President-elect Donald Trump continues to support him, Senator Joni Ernst echoed her support for Hegseth through the nomination process. Senate Republicans believe Hegseth may have survived his initial rollout, according to Punch Bowl. What else is going to go on? Well, a lot of talk about Kash Patel as the FBI director, and that's an interesting thing because many people are wondering, when Trump sat down to talk to NBC News yesterday, a lot of the questions were, are you going to fire Wray? Well, that's about the stupidest question I ever heard in my life. Yeah, if you put forward a nominee, and that nominee is up there meeting with people, it presumes that when he becomes president, if Wray is still there, that he would be fired, and then they would begin the process of replacing him with Kash Patel. Go through the confirmation process. That, by the way, FBI directors, if memory serves me correct, get a 10-year time in office unless you are fired. By the way, it was Trump who actually hired Christopher Wray, but he's not happy, as he told NBC News, with some of the things that Wray has done.
Are you going to fire the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done. And crime is at an all-time high. Migrants are pouring into the country that are from prisons and from mental institutions, as we've discussed. I can't say I'm thrilled. I don't want to be Joe Biden and give you an answer and then do the exact opposite.
We're going to talk about
so
that.
I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, "Oh, maybe it was shrapnel." Where's the shrapnel coming from? Is it coming from heaven? I don't think so. So we need somebody to straighten. I have a lot of respect for the FBI, but the FBI's respect has gone way down over the last number of years.
Don't you have to fire him in order to make room for Kash Patel if he is in fact confirmed?
Well, I mean, it would sort of seem pretty obvious that if Kash gets in, he's going to be taking somebody's place, right? And somebody is the man that you're talking about.
Now, so unbelievably, she didn't seem to quite grasp that concept. So Christopher Wray, according to a couple of stories that I have here, appears to be ready to resign. From the Washington Times, reporter Carrie Pickett, FBI Director Christopher Wray plans to resign on or before Inauguration Day, the Washington Times has learned. Mr. Wray is calling it quits because he doesn't want to get fired by President-elect Donald Trump, according to sources inside the Bureau who are familiar with the director's thinking. He's going to be gone at the inauguration or just before the inauguration, a source said. Following Mr. Wray's departure, Deputy Director Paul Abate will become acting director and appoint an acting deputy director. Mr. Abate's original plan was to stay till May or June so he could help with the transition for the new FBI director. Kash Patel, Mr. Trump's pick to lead the FBI, is meeting Republican senators on Capitol Hill this week. Mr. Patel, who has served as the Defense Secretary's chief of staff and senior advisor to the National Security Council, was tapped by Trump to shake up the FBI management. So, look, I mean, that looks like it's on the way. By the way, interestingly, Senator Charles Grassley of Iowa, who will become the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee next month, sent a scathing letter Monday to Mr. Wray saying that he should be ousted before his 10-year term as FBI director and that Mr. Abate should go as well. Mr. Grassley's letter changed Mr. Abate's plan, and he's now looking for an alternate acting deputy director to appoint. So there may be a little bit of uncertainty over there at the FBI, but at the end of the day, it seems as if that's going to happen. Wray is on the way out. Abate may be on the way out. And then Kash Patel will have to jump in there and get confirmed very quickly to take the reins at the FBI. Look, to me, the FBI has become not the people on the front lines, not the people who work in FBI offices all around this country. Frontline people, in my estimation, are good, solid citizens, people who care greatly about enforcing the law. But FBI headquarters has become a snake pit. And they need to get rid of the snakes that are in that pit, as far as I'm concerned. And I would be absolutely 1,000% happy if they were to take the FBI and close down the FBI office, as some have suggested, and sort of make it a more regional operation. FBI does not need to be in Washington, get involved in politics, and they've been far too involved in politics, and not in a good way. So, Wray on the way out. Kari Lake ran for Senate in the state of Arizona. She came up a little short. It was pretty close, but she didn't win. Now there's talk that Ambassador Kari Lake may be her new title, and that she might be the ambassador to to our trading partners to the south, Mexico. This from townhall.com. Kari Lake is a leading contender for the nomination as Donald Trump's ambassador to Mexico. Two people familiar with the situation told Semaphore News. Lake won Trump's endorsement in both her unsuccessful bids for statewide office in Arizona. The former news anchor and vocal proponent of stringent border security lost an Arizona Senate bid last month to Democrat Senator-elect Ruben Gallego. She also lost a race for Arizona governor in 2022, although she has never officially acknowledged that result. A staunch Trump ally, Lake has remained close to the president-elect over the past few years, backing his unproven claims that the 2020 election was broken. Anyway, so you have Kari Lake now potentially joining in such a big way. So a lot of things going on. Trump's got not only is it just getting people into place, it's planning what he wants to do. And what are the Democrats going to do? I mean, they've been licking their wounds for the last few days, but how will they be getting ready for Inauguration Day? I'll share that with you right after we take this break. 22 past the hour. I wish it were true that you could get a pill or some kind of special cream. If your back is hurting, you could just rub it or take the pill and it would get better. But you know what? In most cases, when your back hurts, it has to do with pressure on your nerves. You have a couple of choices there: surgery or non-invasive spinal decompression. I chose non-surgical spinal decompression at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Their state-of-the-art facilities offer high-tech equipment and the latest non-surgical procedures. And because getting better is important to Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley, they're offering half-off spinal decompression treatment and half-off the KT knee machine. That's right. That's sort of like spinal decompression, but aimed at helping your knee if you're in pain there. And if you're a new patient, you come in, you get an exam, a consultation, and your first treatment. All of that only $23. I'm Brian Wilson, and I put my stamp of approval on the Wellness Institute of Nashville. So call them today at 615-246-5009 and learn more at painisbad.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Here, the CEO murder suspect's outburst heading into court today, and Tennessee lawmakers to debate penalizing mailing or delivering abortion medication. Coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That is Ken Weaver there in the newsroom doing all the newsy things. And in the control room pushing the blinky buttons today and in all this week is Jeff Malinoff in for Chris Webber, who's slacking.
Yeah, what's he doing?
I don't know. He's slacking. He's slacking off. Like I got.
He's just out there slacking off.
He's just slacking. Well, anyway, he'll be back next week, as far as I know. As far as I know, he'll be back next week. We were talking a little bit about the transition and some of the people who were looking like they might be having some problems, now looking, more certain that they probably will get through the confirmation process. Look, I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I can tell you this. I have covered a lot of these confirmation battles over the years. I wish I had a nickel for every time I covered one. They go all the way back to the 80s. That's how long I've been doing. I did confirmation battles in Washington, and I know how the drill goes. And I've seen some that have been controversial. And look, there's no way until the vote is taken. But I'm feeling pretty good about where they are. But the question is, what will the Democrats now do? Now that during this transition, now that they're getting ready to phase out and take on a different role after January 20th. Well, they are looking for ways to slow the Republican roll. No doubt about it. Great story in the Daily Signal. As Trump staffs up for second term, the bureaucrats have hatched at least 3 strategies to oppose him, returning to the left-wing nonprofit sphere to act as a government in waiting. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Passing new regulations to cement their ideology before Trump can reverse them, and burrowing into the government. All right, so first let's talk about the revolving doors. So when this goes for Republicans and Democrats as well. When you have a situation where you're in power and you're about to go out of power, there are these people who are key players, let's say in the Biden administration, key Democrats around the government, will find a place to land, and it's a nonprofit. I mean, we even had one of those guys here in Nashville, somebody who worked for the mayor and his communication office, T.J. Ducklow. He lost his job and needed a place to land, and he ended up working for the mayor for a while. So, they land in a lot of different places, and it's just a position that brings them income, leaves them in place, allows them to continue to contribute to the Democrat brain trust, but they're not really gone. They'll be working, and many times in nonprofit situations, trying to do what they can to thwart anything that the Republicans would be coming up with. That's one thing. So they'll be getting into the revolving door. Number two, a lot of people who are now presidential appointees or administration appointees are finding full-time jobs within the government, sort of hiding. And again, that's the deep state. That's where the deep state is. And then the third thing is that they will simply refuse to leave. Some of them will stay there until they are dragged out, and they will do everything they can in the meantime to stand in the way of Donald Trump's policies. They're not gone. Their power is diminished, but they have a way of lingering. That's the way that all works. It's now 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Another round of cold air, and it's supposed to bring snow? We'll tell you about it during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York City street this month, challenging his extradition from Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione yelling at the media as he entered the courthouse in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania today.
And it's completely out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
Yeah, his defense was given 14 days to file the former challenge to his extradition to face second-degree murder charges in New York. Another health scare for the Senate Minority Leader. His aides say the 82-year-old outgoing GOP leader, Mitch McConnell, tripped during a lunch with fellow Republican senators today. One of his aides says McConnell suffered a minor cut to the face and a sprained wrist. Later tonight in Middle Tennessee, Christian activist Pastor John Amanchukwu will address a local school board meeting about explicit content in books in school libraries.
I'm going to the Murfreesboro City Schools to speak at a school board meeting there. I have about 3 minutes to speak. We're going to touch on issues germane to their budget. There's a lot of funding that's being spent in that district. And so I want to have some conversations about that, okay? What else are we spending money on?
Pastor Amanchukwu says he's going to be speaking on the gender identity book titled It Feels Good to Be Yourself, which he says is on the shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. Looking ahead to the next legislative session, News 2 says a bill has been filed by Brentwood Republican State Rep Gino Bulso to penalize providing abortion-inducing medicine to Tennesseans by up to $5 million. This would cover the drugs mifepristone, misoprostol, and mifeprex, which is RU-486. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, looking at a stalled vehicle and a crash right now impacting 24 eastbound in Rutherford County. You've got the right lane of the off-ramp to Waldron Road blocked there in Laverne. And then you've got a stalled vehicle, right shoulder block 24 eastbound right before 840. In Smyrna, you've got a vehicle fire that is impacting the right shoulder 24 westbound at Sam Ridley Parkway. Then about 80 miles west of Nashville, if you've got friends and family or business associates headed this way, there is almost an hour delay because the right lane is blocked 40 eastbound by an overturned vehicle. This is at exit 133. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Some big news from the folks over at DT McCall. And I think this is good stuff for you. Listen, they have gun safes on sale right now. You may not know it, but gun safes are sales tax free. That's right, sales tax free. It's hunting season, so be sure you're keeping your gun safe when you're not in the tree stand with a Liberty gun safe from DT McCall. DT McCall is the largest Liberty safe dealer in all of Tennessee, and you may say, well, why is that? Well, it has to do with free delivery and setup. Others charge $500 at least for delivery and setup of the big models, and $300 for the smaller models. DT McCall & Sons delivers every safe free every time, period. There is never a setup charge. Security is important these days, and a Liberty gun safe from DT McCall can be used for valuables, cash, jewelry, important documents, wills, deeds, car titles, whatever it is you need to keep safe from theft or fire. So save some big bucks now on your Liberty gun safe when you shop at your local DT McCalls. Just go to dtmccalls.com for locations and information.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
So what's going on with this guy that got arrested over the weekend, Luigi Mangione? I guess he got arrested yesterday. He's going before a judge today, and he apparently will not fight extradition, and he's been denied bail. That is where we now stand on the thing. He's 26 years old, a scion of a wealthy Baltimore family who was a high school valedictorian and an Ivy League graduate. Mangione has maintained an active social media presence for years, posting smiling photos from his travels, sharing his weightlifting routine, discussing health challenges he faced. He publicly kept track of nearly 300 books he had read or wanted to read, even posting a favorable review of the Unabomber Manifesto on a book website. But then during the summer, Mangione appeared to stop posting online, prompting worried messages from some of his friends. Nobody has heard from you in months, and apparently your family is looking for you. One user posted on X in October, tagging an account belonging to Mangione. I don't know if you're okay, another posted. Now, as police rush to piece together Mangione's potential motive and movements leading up to last week's shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Those who know him are left wondering how someone with such a promising life could have possibly committed such a brazen crime. I don't know what happened here. And I'm not trying to make him a sympathetic figure. What he did was heinous. And he will, I think, be tried and found guilty. The evidence is pretty overwhelming, it would seem. But what happened here? Luigi Mangione's family says that something happened after a traumatic surgery. The family of Luigi Mangione said they were devastated by his arrest. As it was revealed, the 26-year-old alleged gunman spiraled into some kind of chaos after undergoing traumatic back surgery. Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest, the family said in a statement shared by his cousin Nino Mangione, who is a Republican Baltimore County delegate. He's actually involved in politics. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved. We are devastated by this news, the Mangione family said. They said they cannot comment on news reports regarding the accused killer, who was arrested in a Pennsylvania McDonald's on Monday morning following a frantic 5-day manhunt. He was eating some potato wedges or some kind of, what is that thing that they give? What is the thing that they give you at McDonald's? The potato thing?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
hash brown.
Hash brown.
Hash brown.
Hash round.
Hash round. He was eating those.
Hash brown or hash round, either one.
Yeah. He was reported to police by an alert Altoona McDonald's employee who recognized the suspected gunman from photos released by the New York Police Department. And local cops approached him while he was eating at the restaurant and said he started the shake when they asked him if he had been to New York recently. He provided them with a fake New Jersey ID, believed to be the same one he used when checking into a Manhattan hostel before the killing, and was taken into custody. Police discovered a ghost gun with a silencer on him and other items that sources said were consistent with what police were seeking, including a rambling, handwritten manifesto that claimed 3 parasites had it coming. I do apologize for any strife of trauma, but it had to be done. He's, as I said, comes from a well-off real estate family, prominent in the Maryland community of Baltimore, outside of Baltimore, an area known as Towson. His family owns 2 sprawling country clubs, a local radio station, and several other real estate holdings. There's apparently something that had to do with a surgery that he had that required that they put screws somehow into the back of his neck, and they say that whatever happened, that he started to go dark after they did the back surgery several months ago. This is one of his former classmates talking to the New York Times. So that is, just one bizarre thing. He was transported to courtroom today, and as he was going in, he yelled at reporters who were gathered there to grab his picture.
And it's completely out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people. It's living fear.
That's it. He was then grabbed by police officers, sort of by the collar, and shoved through a door and down a hallway. And as far as I know, has not come out to go back to the jail as yet. So what an unusual situation with this guy. It does sound like somebody who spiraled off the deep end. It's unusual for someone to have all of what seemed to be a completely normal and successful life, well-liked, popular, and then he has some kind of surgery, and then shortly after the surgery, he disappears and seems to be struggling in some way. I don't know. I'm not trying to justify it, but it is a bizarre situation, and his family seems to be just as mystified as the rest of us are about this shooting. It is very clear that second-degree murder is at least the charge that is being contemplated at the moment. For it to be first-degree murder, he would have to be able to prove that it was premeditated and not an act of passion. And so I think they're starting at second degree. They could go to first degree if they can make that case, but I don't know that they are able to make that case as yet. It's still very early on in the investigation, and going through his so-called writings, going through his belongings, tracking where he was in the days leading up to the attack, tracking where he was in the days after the attack, before he was arrested in Altoona. I mean, boy, by the way, great work by the police officer there, great work by the McDonald's folks. When you have a situation like this, and everybody's trying to find the guy, it is important for people to be on the alert. And, the people at McDonald's were on the ball. And so was the police department there when they arrived to ask him a few questions. And when they approached him, he seemed nervous, like, uh-oh, they're on to me now. How do I get out of this? As I understand it, he was taken into custody without any kind of real issue. But, what is driving this is the mystery in the whole thing right now, and how it'll all play out is still unclear at this time, except that this man is in jail, and I don't anticipate he'll be getting out of jail anytime soon. Will his attorneys try to make some kind of case that he was not in his right mind? Perhaps, and it'll be interesting to see what that's all based upon. But at the moment, it's more questions, I think, than we have answers. But at least for now, the manhunt is over, and this individual is for now behind bars and doesn't seem like he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I just can't imagine what it must be like to be the family, to have this individual, which according to all of the accounts seems to be, a very successful and thriving individual. He had success in life, graduated from an Ivy League school, was able to do, things that were important. He seems to, I read a story here that said they thought that he was sort of an anti-capitalist, which I thought was interesting, and not really although his relatives may be Republicans, his politics seem to be left leaning, and very liberal in many ways. But who knows what's going on with this individual, and we'll continue to watch that one. I want to mention, while I have a minute left here, that Mitch McConnell, the senior senator from the state of Kentucky, former majority leader, stepped down and said he would not want to be the majority leader going forward. This is Tuesday, and up on Capitol Hill every Tuesday they have what they call a policy luncheon. Everybody gets together, they discuss, things that are going on. Right now, John Thune is sort of taking the reins over from McConnell, who is the minority leader, I guess, until the time is up, and he will continue to try to drive the Republicans toward whatever they're going to do in the coming session when they take over the control of the Senate. But Mitch McConnell took a fall today, and he apparently tripped and was bruised and scraped. And at some point, a wheelchair was seen being wheeled into the senator's office just before 1 p.m. And we had John Thune came out to the microphones to talk about other stuff, obviously, about what they're going to be doing in the next session. But he was asked about Mitch McConnell briefly.
He is fine. He's in his office. And any other questions about Senator McConnell will refer to his staff.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too deeply involved in all that. Mitch McConnell has been having all kinds of medical issues. As you know, there was that moment where he was, at a press conference, and he was asked a question, and he seemed to just freeze, he couldn't speak, and had to be taken away. And we were told a few minutes later that he had recovered and was fine. But that was never completely explained. The man is up there in age, so it's not surprising that that things like this might happen. So again, because he is the representative for, I know many people have very strong feelings about Mitch McConnell, but we wish him well. And he is, after all, the senior senator for people who listen to our radio station up there in Kentucky, and we have quite a few of them. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on, and if there's anything more to report on Mitch McConnell today. Let's call it 50 minutes now, past the hour of 3 o'clock. Many of you have been around here for a long time. You've heard me talk about Eurofix. They have been the place to take your European car for repair now for almost a quarter century. And you've watched them grow. You know, I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, the folks at Eurofix are very excited because, you know, for now, I guess about a year now, they have had their new location in Mount Juliet open, and it's their newest location, a fifth location, right across the street from the Dairy Queen on Mount Juliet Road. Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Billmead, and now, of course, in Mount Juliet. And it's pretty cool getting to watch a small-town mechanic who started in the barn in the backyard of a single-wide trailer grow to 5 locations, repairing thousands of cars each month. At Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. So call this number, 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or visit myEurofix.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
United Healthcare CEO murder suspect lashes out, has to be dragged into court by police. Hear that at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, taking a look at the markets if we could. The Dow falls more than 150 points to notch 4 losing days as the year-end rally that we had been seeing seems to be taking a little bit of a breather. Let's take a look at the markets. Dow Jones Industrials down 154, S&P down 17, the NASDAQ down about 50. All of this is red, but that's what we have today. You can't always be green. Sometimes it has to be red. This brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. To find out more about what Beacon Capital Management can do to help you get ready for your retirement, just go to their website, askbeaconnow.com. 58 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is challenging his extradition from Pennsylvania. And Luigi Mangione yelled at the media as he entered the courthouse there in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania.
And it's clearly out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and lived experience.
Aaron Katursky outside the Blair County Courthouse there.
He briefly tried to interrupt his lawyer, who was arguing that Mangione should not be held without bail, but instead released on some amount of bail. And at one point, the defense attorney turned to his left, pointed a finger at Mangione, and said, "Don't say a word." So he's now conferring with his client, but he will be back. Mangione will be back into the custody of the Pennsylvania Department of Correction in short order.
Yeah, his defense has 14 days to file a formal challenge to his extradition. Right now in Nashville, Metro Police say a second man out on bond for a violent criminal charge is now charged with attempted homicide for another violent crime. Investigators say 20-year-old Zarek Johnson's the suspected shooter in the October 18th gunfire in a busy intersection of 46th Avenue North and Charlotte Avenue that critically injured a teenager who was a passenger in a car. Police say at the time of today's arrest, Johnson was free on $61,000 bond after getting arrested in February for aggravated assault, where police say he fired several shots while chasing two people in the Walgreens parking lot on Maplewood Lane. In our nation's capital, another health scare for the Senate Minority Leader, Stephen Portnoy, with the latest.
His aides say the 82-year-old outgoing GOP leader tripped during a lunch with fellow Republican senators. A spokesperson says Mitch McConnell sustained a minor cut to the face and sprained his wrist. Incoming Republican leader John Thune told reporters,
"He is fine. He's in his office."
Aides say despite the injuries he sustained in the fall, McConnell has been cleared to resume his schedule. He announced earlier this year he's stepping down as the Senate's longest-serving leader.
Right now in Tennessee, a new bill has been filed that penalizes providing abortion medication to Tennesseans by up to $5 million. Brentwood Republican State Rep Gino Bolso's legislation includes the drugs mifepristone, misoprostol, and mifeprex, or RU-486, when it's mailed or delivered to anyone in Tennessee for the sole purpose of inducing abortion. The only exception is for the drug misoprostol if it is used for treating a stomach ulcer. And later tonight in Murfreesboro, the Christian activist who has spoken in 17 states on explicit content in school library books speaks at the Murfreesboro City Schools Board meeting. Pastor John Amanchukwu telling WTN's Chris Hanjo today.
I'm going to talk about a book at this school board meeting entitled It Feels Good to Be Yourself. It's a children's book, ages 4 through 8.
He says it's about gender identity. Pastor Amanchukwu says it is on the library shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. Tonight's school board meeting starts at 6 in the council chambers at City Hall on West Vine Street. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, still got that issue about 80 miles west of Nashville trying to get to Nashville. The right lane is blocked 40 eastbound between exits 133 and 137. That is an hour delay right now. Now, closer to town, we've got some issues on 24 in Rutherford County. We've got a crash. 24 eastbound off-ramp to Waldron Road, then a stalled vehicle blocking the right shoulder, 24 eastbound before 840. Then still cleaning up a vehicle fire that was impacting the right shoulder, 24 westbound at Sam Ridley in Smyrna. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. 7 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Brian Wilson in the chair and on the air all the way till 7 o'clock tonight, bringing you news and information, and stuff that you can use. Not just useless information. This is information that helps you. that you can use and to live a productive life. At least that's the goal. Hey, listen, we're watching Donald Trump like a hawk because he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. And it sounds like he's got some big plans to try to make some changes on day one. A lot of things sort of burbling about. Let me see if I can talk about a few of them. Number one, Trump is apparently sort of laying down markers with Canada and Mexico, two of our largest trading, well, and China, our three largest trading partners, trying to make sure that things are put back in balance, saying that, look, we're gonna have all kinds of charges against the tariffs that are going to be leveled against you to try to get you to do the things that we want. It's not that we want to charge Mexico and Canada and run up the price of things through tariffs, but if you don't do that, you have no way of getting them to sort of do the things that are important to you. And so one of the things that is important to Donald Trump is securing the border, especially the northern border and the southern border. Of course, that's a big problem. With China, what he wants to do is get them to stop sending stuff to Mexico that is used to make fentanyl. And to do other things as well, but those are the main things he wants them to stop doing, and that's why we're talking about potential tariffs. It's the threat of tariffs. Whether we actually see tariffs or not is something that remains to be seen, because maybe, everybody can sit down in a room and work it out, and we get what we want without having to impose the tariffs. Tariffs are not a bad thing. They've been used before. They bring jobs back to America. They get our trading partners to stand up and pay attention. They need our market. They need us, I think, much more than we need them. And Trump, in some ways, has said to Trudeau, he's sort of tried to diminish Trudeau in some of these comments that he's made, suggesting that he's not really the president or the prime minister of a sovereign nation, but rather just a large state north of the United States. That he's really more of a governor than he is a prime minister. President-elect Donald Trump has again commented on Canada's sovereignty, saying he's eager for another meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, whom he referred to as a state governor. The remark is an apparent reference to Trump's recent quip that Canada could become the 51st U.S. state and Trudeau could be the governor there. It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. This doesn't sit well with the Canadians. They're not liking this at all. But one way or the other, he said this on Truth Social. He said he's looking forward to seeing the governor again soon to continue their in-depth discussion about tariffs and trade. The results, which will be truly spectacular for all, added the incoming U.S. president. The post calling Trudeau a governor was published some hours after the prime minister spoke at a Halifax Chamber of Commerce event where he said Canada would retaliate against the 25% tariffs threatened by Trump. The president-elect said that on November 25th he would impose the tariffs on Canada and Mexico if they don't tighten their border security. Well, there's an if there. Not saying that we want to do this, but we have to get security any way we can find it. And are our Canadian partners doing, I think, probably more than our Mexican partners? Yes. Will this probably all go away before it actually comes to fruition? I think it will. But at the end of the day, we will be better off if our northern border is secure and our southern border is secure. But I don't know how it's going to go over in Canada. I spent some time this summer up in Canada. I had never been before. I don't know how that happened. Been all over the country, been all over the world, but for some reason, I'd never found my way to Canada. And I found the folks there to be great. I think they like Americans more than we imagine they do. And by the way, Trudeau, there's a lot of people who don't care much for Trudeau up there. So for us to diminish him and call him a governor probably feeds right into some of the politics there in Canada. But one way or the other, I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't think it's going to need to come to that. Just the threat of a trade war and tariffs. When you look at how much we send to Canada and how much Canada sends to us to be sold in our American markets, I think they'll get in line pretty quick. I think they will. Trump was asked the other day in this interview that he did on NBC's Meet the Press about ending birthright citizenship on day one. Now, the idea of birthright citizenship is if you are born here, you are an American citizen, spelled out to some degree in the 14th Amendment. It was enacted in 1868 after the Civil War to allow the children of slaves to become U.S. citizens and not the children of illegal aliens. So, there's some question about, we're using it in a way that the founding fathers did not intend. And so he says he wants to end birthright citizenship outright.
You promised to end birthright citizenship on day one. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an executive action?
We're going to have to get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it. We're the only country that has it.
Through an executive action?
We're the only country that has it. Do you know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, congratulations, you are now a citizen of the United States of America. Yes, we're going to end that because it's ridiculous.
Through executive action?
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do it through executive action, but then we had to fix COVID first, to be honest with you. We have to end it.
I was going to do it through executive action, but we had to fix COVID first. He's talking back when he was president before. Talking about, COVID came along and it sort of distracted us away from doing it. We were going to do it then, but we just couldn't do it. The question is whether or not the 14th Amendment applies in situations like that. Some say it does, and some say, and certainly it's being interpreted in that way that it does, but some say it doesn't. So we'll see how that legal battle goes, but that's going to be very interesting. If they can do away with birthright citizenship, it solves a lot of problems. He also, by the way, has said that he's open to some kind of deal on the Dreamers. Now, he said that before. He's been very clear about that. He was willing to sit down with Democrats and work out a deal with the Dreamers, the people who are born here to the parents of illegal immigrants, but they're born here and they've only known America, and maybe even many of them don't even speak Spanish. Being sent back just doesn't make any sense at all. And I think there's a level of compassion for that. So he's willing to work with them on the Dreamers. But this whole idea of basically coming to this country, having a baby, and then that baby becomes an anchor baby, it fuels what is known as birth tourism. Expecting parents, even those from China, travel to the United States to deliver their children so they can automatically become U.S. citizens. Other illegal immigrants already in the country also benefit from the 14th Amendment by sanitizing their children's immigration status. Additionally, removing the alien parents from the country is impossible without separating them from their American children. However, the incoming president intends to remove the ridiculous birthright citizenship by initiating a constitutional amendment if he cannot achieve the same through executive action. We may have to go back to the people, he says. You heard him right there. According to Trump, only the United States has unrestricted birthright citizenship. That's not quite true. There's about 33 out of 193 countries worldwide which have unrestricted birthright citizenship like the United States, but the vast majority do not. Similarly, only the United States and Canada have unrestricted birthright citizenship in the developed world. Another 32 countries, mostly developing nations, have conditional birthright citizenship, requiring at least one of the parents to be a citizen or a legal resident. Similarly, the child can acquire citizenship if orphaned or through other constitutional means in some of these countries. But, work out a deal with the Dreamers. They should not have, they didn't have any say in it. They were innocent byproducts of people who came to this country illegal, had a baby. That baby becomes a citizen. And then is it an anchor baby because you don't want to separate families? Well, it's being abused. There's no doubt about that. So how do we solve that problem? It needs a little work. It needs to be focused on, but at least he's talking now about doing that. Another thing he's talking about doing on day one is pardon the January 6th protesters. Again, this comes from the Meet the Press interview over the weekend. President Donald Trump says that he would pardon January 6th protesters on day one of his second non-consecutive term in office. I'm going to be acting very quickly. First day. They've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't be allowed to be open. Trump also threatened to lock up the bipartisan January 6th committee, including members like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, who rubber-stamped their biased and politically motivated prosecutions. Without making any commitments to investigating and prosecuting them, Trump honestly said they should go to jail. Well, saying that they should go to jail is very different from trying to take action that would actually put them in jail, and people need to draw that distinction. So there you have that. Trump is looking for some great help from Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. And one of the things that Elon Musk is pushing, and I'm telling you, I've been ready for this for years. This is something that needs to happen. We need to start eliminating foreign aid. If you're going to start taking trillions out of the budget, that's a great place to start. I mean, so much of the budget, it's hard to really trim. You got to have so much for the defense. You got to have so much for Medicare and Social Security. Those seem to be things that Trump doesn't want to deal with. But everything else is up for grabs right now. Shrinking the size of government would help a great deal. But why do we continue to send money to other countries around the world? What does that gain us? They don't respect us. They don't give us anything in return, it would seem. I don't know that we need to continue to do a great deal of foreign aid. And when you ask people about foreign aid, well, we need to have control. We need to have avenues that are open to us in certain parts of the world. I'm not sure that really has worked out to our benefit. We give billions and billions and billions and billions in foreign aid, and I'm not sure we get much in return for it. You talk to the American people, and the one thing that they want to get rid of is foreign aid. Nobody likes it, but we keep doing it. Why? Well, because we've always done it that way. Because status quo, status quo. Man, I hope that this is one of the first things to fall by the wayside, and it looks like Elon Musk is going to be pushing pretty hard to see if they can make that happen. Again, he doesn't have an official office, but he has the ear of the president, and the president can do a lot of things through executive order. It's 20 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock. Make this a magical Christmas with help from Genesis Diamonds. You will love what's happening this month at Genesis. They've got 5-year, 0% interest financing across the board. Just pick any particular gift that you find there. Anything that you like that catches your eye, that might catch the fancy of that special someone in your life. Divide the price by 60, and that's your payment. Everything in the building is affordable. And guys, Genesis has what women love, from simple diamond stud earrings to amazing one-of-a-kind designer bracelets. Their showcases are filled with exquisite diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, can't-miss gifts with exquisite craftsmanship and lasting value. All of Genesis' exclusive designers are showcasing their latest creations so you can get her something truly unique and special. And Genesis non-commissioned experts will be there to help you pick out the gift that's sure to bring tears to her eyes on Christmas mornings. Relax. No pressure at Genesis. They will make it so very easy. This year, get her the most romantic and most memorable gift for the season. Genesis Diamonds, best value, best selection, best quality, and best overall experience. Get the holiday store hours, directions, finance details at GenesisDiamonds.com. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
The CEO murder suspect lashes out, and a federal judge temporarily stopping what would be the biggest U.S. supermarket merger ever. These stories and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom, Jeff Melanoff in the control room, and out at Nissan Stadium, our good friend Matt Murphy. This is one of the days that we really look forward to every year, where we do a little thing where we turn a football field into a field of toys. For those who are less fortunate, who need a little help around the holidays, this is all done in support of Salvation Army's Forgotten Angels program, sponsored by First Horizon Bank. And Matt Murphy is down there. So, Matt, give us the lay of the land. And if people want to participate in this toy drive, which I think is a great thing to do during the holiday seasons, how do they go about it?
Well, Brian, you said it. We're at Toy Field at Nissan Stadium, benefiting the Salvation Army Forgotten Angel program. It's presented by First Horizon Bank. And let me first thank our wonderful sponsors, A.O. Smith, Pig and Pie Catering, O'Charlie's, and Law Tigers. We appreciate those guys for making this possible, and we appreciate all of you for making this possible. And all you need to do is grab yourself a new unwrapped toy. If you're out doing some holiday shopping, pick up an extra new unwrapped toy or a gift for a senior and bring it today to Toy Field. Now, it's a little bit different because of the construction that's going on the interstate side of Nissan Stadium. We're on the Cumberland River side at Gate 6. We've got signage up, so it's very easy to get in and out, and you don't even have to get out of your car. Just ask one of our elves to assist you in getting the toys out of the car and onto our toy field, and we'll do so. We are almost full, but not nearly full enough. We can always use more toys, and we're out here until about 6 o'clock tonight. Parking and curbside drop-off is available at Nissan Stadium, so we'd love to see you. The entire Cumulus family is out. Santa Claus is here. He just walked by. Santa Claus is in a big red leather coat. Which I've never seen, but Santa says, you got to change with the times. So he's got his leather coat on, and he's ready to receive you and to wish you warm welcome and to see what gifts you want under the Christmas tree this holiday season. So come on out and see us. We're here until 6 o'clock tonight, Brian.
Thinking of you as an elf who would help people with this process, I imagine you in tights, sort of like Buddy the Elf, out there.
Oh, have you seen a picture of me? That's exactly what I'm wearing. What?
Oh yeah, that would be priceless, no doubt at all. But I mean, so people, this is a great thing that we do every year, and there really is a need. I mean, there are some families where, things. It's been a tough year. Sometimes things happen that aren't your fault at all. You find yourself up against it. Not a lot of spare money to go out and buy kids, and kids ought to have a good Christmas. And I know the Salvation Army is really good about working with these families that have a need and helping them out during the holidays. And so if you find yourself to be, blessed beyond measure, as many of us are, this is one way that you can really help out those who are less fortunate in our community.
Well, and you said it, Brian, and I'll just reiterate it, that, regardless of the circumstances or how families find themselves in their circumstances, the children obviously are oblivious to many of those factors that go into where they are, and they deserve a good Christmas, and we want to give them a good Christmas. And so come on out and help as you can. Nissan Stadium, Gate 6, we'd love to see you.
All right. Thank you very much, Matt Murphy. Listen, I just want to, I got about a minute and a half here. I have to bring this up. I'm deeply, deeply offended by the University of Cincinnati. Have you heard this story? I know it's been talked about a little bit, but the University of Cincinnati in Ohio is home to the Bearcats. They ordered a middle school in our area, Cheatham County Middle School, to cease and desist calling their team the Bearcats. I mean, come on. And so they have, apparently, they got a cease and desist letter. I mean, the university sent a letter saying, you've got to stop this. You can't be calling your team the Bearcats. We're the Bearcats, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats, and you just can't do this anymore. Really, what harm was coming of having a middle school in Tennessee also calling their team the Bearcats? Now, they've decided not to fight it. They've got a new mascot now. They will become the Musketeers. But this really grinds my gears. Why was this necessary? Why did they need to do this? It especially grinds my gears because I sent a great deal of money to the University of Cincinnati to educate my daughter. And I'm not very pleased with my daughter's alma mater right now. Insane. But I will say that the folks there have taken it in good stride. And what is really interesting is apparently Xavier University, which is a rival to the University of Cincinnati Bearcats, actually stepped in and said, "We think it's horrible what the University of Cincinnati is doing to you. We will help you go through the process of renaming your team, and any of those costs and any of those things that might come up. We will try to make sure that the cost of rebranding is not going to be a cost that you have to bear," which I think is about the coolest thing I've ever done. And I'm wishing that a lot of my money had gone to Xavier University instead of the University of Cincinnati. I don't think I could ever cheer for the Bearcats again. 30 minutes past the hour.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Tracking the potential for snow in Middle Tennessee. Tell you about it during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is challenging his extradition from Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione yelling at the media as he entered the courthouse there in Hollidaysburg.
And it's completely out of touch, and it's insult the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
His defense was given 14 days to file a former challenge to his extradition to face second-degree murder charges in New York. Right now in Nashville, Metro Police say they used a helicopter and canines to arrest 10 teenagers from 2 stolen cars they were using to commit armed robberies. They say they tracked down a stolen Kia Soul and a Nissan Maxima, watched as 4 kids in the Maxima tossed guns out of the windows as police moved in. That Kia Soul had 6 teenage suspects in it, a 14-year-old driver, a 13-year-old passenger, 2 14-year-old passengers, and 2 15-year-old passengers. Money News, Michelle Franzen.
Markets had a slide in Tuesday trading on Wall Street. The Dow lost 154 points at closing. The S&P 500 dropped 18 points, and the Nasdaq down 49 points. A federal judge has temporarily halted a proposed merger between supermarket giants Kroger and Albertsons. The Federal Trade Commission filed a suit to block the $24 billion deal. Boeing has resumed production of its best-selling plane, the 737 MAX, for the first time since September, when about 33,000 workers went on strike. The Federal Aviation Administration is limiting production of MAX jets until the agency reviews quality and safety issues. President-elect Trump posting on social media today, promising that under his administration, any company investing $1 billion or more to create products in the U.S. will receive, quote, expedited approvals and permits, including environmental approvals.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we have picked up a crash in Antioch. This is going to be 24 eastbound at Haywood Lane. Then in Rutherford County, lots of issues on 24. 24 eastbound off-ramp to Waldron Road, the right lane of the off-ramp blocked by a crash. 24 eastbound right before 840, the right shoulder blocked by a stalled vehicle there in Murfreesboro. And then still cleaning up that vehicle fire on the right shoulder. 24 westbound there at Sam Ridley in Smyrna. 24 westbound after Waldron Road. Looks like a stalled vehicle blocking the right shoulder there in Laverne. And then about 80 miles west of Nashville, everyone trying to get to Nashville going to be delayed by about an hour because an overturned tractor trailer is blocking the right lane there between exit 133 and exit 137. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Let me tell you about the folks over at Beacon Capital Management. You know, you're that time of year where you want to take stock of where things are. And as you go into the new year, get ready for the new year. Maybe your investments. Are you doing the right thing? Are you making the right investments? Do you have your money going in the places where it gives you the greatest rate of return? Are you getting ready for retirement? Are you close? Well, if all of these things are on your mind, you need to call the folks at Beacon Capital Management because they got some help for you to give you some guidance. There's steps you can take now to be better positioned regardless of what happens. You deserve the confidence to know that no matter what's going on with the economy, you have a plan that helps keep your financial goals in line with your life's priorities. If you're in or nearing retirement, Beacon Capital Management has a free retirement-ready toolkit just for you. You'll get a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. It doesn't cost you a penny. No obligation. And by the way, no pressure. They just want you to be informed. Call 615-488-9303 to get your free retirement-ready toolkit. That number again, write it down, 615-488-9303.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
You know, there's been a lot of conversation about the pardon of Hunter Biden. And now, I mean, the thing that is just shocking is you would think that after that one and the reaction that happened, even Democrats criticizing the current president of the United States for pardoning his son when he said he wasn't going to do it, you might think that, they would be done with pardons. But now there is talk of preemptive pardons for key players within the Biden administration, key political figures on the Democrat side of the equation. In other words, preemptive pardons that would say, no matter what this individual has done, they are forgiven for it, which is insane to me. That we would be giving pardons for things that Do we have a charge against this individual? No. Is there any kind of case against this individual? No. But they're going to preemptively do it. Well, they're talking about it. Corinne Jean-Pierre was asked about it the other day, and she didn't say no, it wasn't going to happen. She just tried to deflect.
Are preemptive pardons on the table as President goes through?
I'm just not going to. I'm not going to get ahead of the president. Certainly, the president is looking at, reviewing next steps, and there will be more to come. I'm just not going to get ahead of the president. I'm not going to get into hypotheticals from here.
That's not a no. That's I'm just not going to talk about what we're going to do, but we're going to be doing something. Looking at things, and we're just not going to get ahead of the president before he makes that decision. I mean, you can't really blame her to some degree because they sent her out to say time and time and time again that there wasn't going to be a pardon of Hunter Biden. When apparently all along behind the scenes they were talking about pardoning Hunter Biden. A way to protect Hunter Biden, but also a way to protect the current president of the United States, I would think. Yeah. We're not going to do that. No, we're not. No, we're not. Well, yeah, we did. We're not going to pardon him until we just completely change our mind and decided that we're going to do. She's still catching flack for that, so she's not going to make any bold predictions. She's not going to get out there and put her neck in the noose like has happened with his other pardon. She's getting slammed for that. It still comes up.
I'm sure my colleagues have a few thoughts, just very specifically.
It's not only colleagues who watch this. There's also the American people.
Exactly.
So to be fair,
and they were told by you in July that this would not happen, and it did. Do you, I'm saying, asking for yourself, not the presidency, but for yourself. Do you feel like you are owed an apology by the president? Do you owe an apology to the American people?
That's, by the way, a great question. Do you owe the American people an apology, and does the president owe you an apology? It would seem to me if you sent her out there and you said, no, we're not going to pardon him, no, and then you do it, that you sort of need to go to her and say, I'm really sorry, I really hate that we put you in that position, but I think that's a fair question. I think Biden does owe her an apology. Or maybe she was in on it the whole time. I don't know.
I just laid out the president's thinking. The president laid it out himself in his own words. He did. He laid out how he wrestled with this decision. He said in his statement, as a president, as a father, he talked about how difficult it was to make this decision. He thought about it this weekend. He did. He thought about it this weekend. He wrestled with it. And there are some, factors, some real factors that he took into consideration. And that's why I keep saying folks should just take a look. Take a look. Read his statement. And I know what I said. I know what the president said. That is where we were at the time. That is where the president was at the time. I am his spokesperson. This weekend, he thought about it. He wrestled with it. And made this decision. That's what I can tell the American people.
Why should they have any confidence in anything else?
I think the American people understand, and I think they understand how difficult this decision would be. And I would actually add, and I think it's important to note here as you're asking me these questions, important questions to ask, that there was a poll, a U.S. Gov poll that came out, that some of you all reported on it. And it said 64% of the American people agree with the pardon.
That is incorrect. That is not true. That poll said that about 64% of the American people were against the pardon, and only 34% thought it was okay. In other words, your hardcore Democrats thought it was all right. Everybody else, so she absolutely got that either wrong or she just out and out lied. Right there. So, I don't know what to tell you about this group. I don't think they're done with the pardons. I think if you were shocked, stunned, and amazed, as many people were, when Hunter Biden was pardoned by his dad after saying no less than 10 times, no, we're on the record. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. And they did it. I think you're going to be really shocked when they come out with the rest of these pardons. Now, I don't know that they will do it anytime soon. I mean, they don't have to do it anytime soon. You can do it on February 20th at 11:45 a.m. in the morning and January 20th and just drop them. And you know what? Everything is going to be, it will be a footnote. People will talk about it, but they won't talk about it a great deal because why? Well, the inauguration will be going on and there'll be other things to discuss. So I think it's entirely possible that that's going to happen. Keep your eyes peeled, but I don't expect that they're going to do it in advance. Why give you time to criticize the decision? Bury it. That's what they do. It's called news management, and they're masters at it. They really are. I think there's more to come. More to come. Meanwhile, Democrats are on to President Biden to get as many migrants into the country as possible before the Trump inauguration. Listen to this. This is from the Daily Fetched. Senators Catherine Cortez Masto, Democrat of Nevada, Ben Ray Lujan, Democrat of New Mexico, Alex Padilla, Democrat of California, have demanded that Biden reward large groups of illegal aliens with immigration benefits before he leaves office. In addition, they wrote to him in a letter, in addition to supporting strong border security, we are eager to ensure that DACA recipients, TPS holders, and other immigrants who are critical members of our communities and economies are not forgotten during this busy time. The senators are asking Biden to allow hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens enrolled in the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, to extend their status for the maximum length of time. Yeah, they also request that Biden extend and redesignate several countries as temporary protected status so that newly arrived migrants can remain in the U.S. while those already here can stay longer. In other words, they're going to try to do everything they can behind the scenes to make sure that as many of these people who came into this country illegally are immune from being deported. What I take is what I hear from this incoming administration. They're going to engage in a mass deportation and nobody is safe. Yes. Yes. In other words, what you should take from that, Cortez Masto, is that the new president coming in is going to enforce the law that has not been enforced for the last 4 years. So I'm asking the administration to come down and protect some of the immigrant communities, TPS recipients, DACA recipients. Tom Homan has warned that Democrats could face jail time if they disrupt deportation efforts. That's right. And I think he's talking about Title 8 U.S. Code 1324. It says that you can't harbor or conceal an illegal alien from a federal law enforcement. There are certain laws in place they can't cross, and I hope she doesn't cross it, Homan has reiterated. The Democrats they just won't give up on this. You would think that the election decided this issue. People who voted for Trump did so full well knowing that he was going to do this. And yet, even though there is something of a mandate for Trump, they have decided that they're going to drag their feet. They're going to do everything they can to obstruct. And I got to tell you, I do have some sympathy for the Dreamers, and I think Trump does too. Everything I've heard him say suggests that he'd be willing to work out some kind of deal on the Dreamers. But we've got to stop, the oncoming onslaught of people. I expect, quite frankly, that between now and January 20th, you're going to see another big surge at the border. Maybe it won't happen in Texas. I think Texas is ready for it. They're doing some things on the state level to protect the state, but they may go through New Mexico, they may go through Arizona, they may go through California in a big way. California seems most likely to me. Get as many people pushed through the ports there, Mexican ports in California, as they possibly can. And although we are hearing, here's one little bit of positive news. We are hearing that many people that were on their way to the United States through Mexico have simply decided to go back home rather than run the risk of coming up here and being told, no, you can't come. They've just decided rather than invest in all of that effort, they're just going to go back home and deal with things there. So it is having an impact, but the Democrats are going to be looking to do everything they can to obstruct the efforts of the Trump administration. 50 minutes now past the hour. Eurofix has a very different business philosophy. They staff all their locations with more staff than the average auto repair shop, just so they can be ready when your emergency pops up out of nowhere. Have you ever noticed how hard it can be to get a right now appointment for vehicle repair? Some dealers can be more than 2 weeks just to get in the door. But not at Eurofix. Eurofix has been offering quality repairs that beat the dealer without dealer pricing since 1999, plus a 3-year nationwide warranty and the staff to fix your car now. If you're tired of waiting forever to get your car in the shop, then call Eurofix. Owner Aaron Stokes says, "We will never be too busy for our customers. We are here to take their pain away and do it now." Eurofix repairs all European cars, and Eurofix says yes to speedy repairs when others can't or won't. Family owned for some 24 years. Call this number, 844-EUROFIX, or visit myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
The CEO murder suspect lashes out, and Rutherford County officials say they're trying to handle the population boom without raising property taxes. Details coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, how's it looking for Donald Trump? Will he get all the people that he wants to fill out the various offices of his administration? And what about these mystery drones? What the heck is going on with that? We'll talk about it coming up in the next hour right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And accused United Healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione lashing out today as he arrived at the Blair County Courthouse in Pennsylvania.
And it's clearly out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and lived experience.
Mangione having to be dragged into the courthouse there by police. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Once he walked into the courtroom, he appeared a bit rumpled in a brown T-shirt and a wrinkled orange jumpsuit. He was shackled at the waist and at the ankles, and he challenged his extradition. He did not waive extradition to New York to fight the second-degree murder and other charges Mangione now faces in connection with the death of Brian Thompson.
Now, this could drag on for months before it ever gets back to New York. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has scrapes and bruises after falling down during a Republican lunch on Capitol Hill today. An aide says he suffered a cut to his face, sprained a wrist, but has been cleared to resume business as usual. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Rutherford County officials say they're trying to handle the population boom without raising property taxes. For instance, Commissioner Phil Wilson telling Channel 4 the cost to building a school has tripled, almost reaching $100 million.
Once these buildings are built, we're looking to have these buildings for 50 plus years. But the upfront expense to build these, that's an unsustainable number without revenue that's matching it.
Right now, Rutherford County schools growing at a rate of about 10,000 students per year, which is 1,000 new students every 12 months. Pastor and national Christian activist John Amanchukwu, who goes around the nation speaking at local school board meetings to draw attention to explicit content in school library books, speaks tonight in Murfreesboro. He tells WTN's Chris Hanshaw he's been given 3 minutes before the Murfreesboro City Schools Board tonight.
There's a parental rights issue that's taking place nationally, and it has to deal with the libraries.
Pastor Amanchukwu says he'll be speaking tonight on the book titled It Feels Good to Be Yourself, which is about gender identity, and he says that is on the shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. And looking ahead to the next legislative session, House Education Instruction Subcommittee Chair Scott Sapicki telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show today a bill will be introduced requiring at least 1 hour of unstructured recess for K through 5.
When you talk to teachers, the fidgets or whatever you want to call them, when they're in class and they're just so antsy, they just got to blow off some steam. You can look at the academic success rates of states that have gone to increase recess time in early education, leading to better mental health for the children, less discipline problems in the classroom, and better academic success of the students.
Sapicki says 50% of teachers who are retiring right now are doing so because they're tired of disruptions in the classroom. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we have picked up a crash here on the South Loop downtown. It's eastbound right there at the 24 split. Then 24 eastbound at Haywood Lane in Antioch. We've got 24 westbound in Smyrna right there, the Sam Ridley Parkway, the right shoulder where there had been a vehicle fire. It looks like that still might be impacting traffic. At least it's showing up here on our traffic service. And then still west of Nashville by about 80 miles, it's about an hour delay trying to get here because of an overturned tractor trailer blocking the right lane of 40 eastbound between exits 133 and 137. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 7 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Wilson. It really seems strange to be saying good evening at 5 o'clock, but I mean, it's dark out there. We got just a few more days, you know. We're in that time of year where it gets dark so early, and I think, what is it, the 21st of December is the first official day of winter?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, Ken, when that happens, a magical thing will occur.
Yes.
The days will start getting longer.
They will.
And the nights will start getting shorter. And before you know it, we'll be, you know, we'll still have sunshine at 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It'll be great. But it takes a while. These are the darkest days of the year.
Especially if you have to drive on I-24.
Yeah, I bet that's true. Well, you know, listen, it is what it is. But you know, one of the things I thought was pretty interesting is that Trump, I'll put it this way, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy want us to go to daylight savings time and never go back.
I'm for it.
I'm for it too. I love the idea.
Yeah, especially now that I don't wake up at stupid o'clock every night to get to work.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't care before,
I didn't.
No, because, you know, you were going to bed at 6 o'clock in the evening anyway. But now that you actually try to have a life, you'd like to be able to have a little daylight to use it, right?
Exactly. Even if it is freezing outside, but hopefully we won't have a repeat of last year. Remember last year, the first part of January?
Yes, I remember.
Goodness.
My God, it got cold, and I'm still paying for that.
Really?
You know, with oh yeah, I mean, I'm still cutting up dead bushes. And,
oh yeah.
You know, a lot of shrubbery really took the hit, and I kept thinking, oh, it's going to come back. Didn't come back. So, by the way, before I let you go, is Everking coming along over Christmas decorations? Is your place everything getting all Christmassy?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, we actually put everything up the day after Thanksgiving. So
you're already Christmasified.
Yeah, we're Christmasified.
Well, at my house, it's a process. Let me just say. You may notice that the Christmas tree behind me here in the studio, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, there's a very small tree sitting next to Buddy the Elf. And part of the tree doesn't have any lights. This is a Charlie Brown tree is what this is. It looks really pathetic. And normally it would already be decorated, but you know, we haven't gotten around to doing it yet. And Cabana Wife, you know, I will say she's got her hands full.
Yep.
Because she decided that she's going to have, I think the number is 16 trees this year.
Wow.
So this tree is like, this is the last. And I said to her, why don't you just skip this one? You know, it's not that important in my studio.
Yeah.
just focus on the house. She says, no. Then I wouldn't be able to say that I added a tree this year. I said, okay, 15 would be fine. It'd really be fine. It'd be just, most people would not notice the difference between 15 and 16 trees.
Yeah.
But it's a process.
So has she added any nutcrackers this year?
No, but that the nutcracker thing, as you know, we have a sizable nutcracker collection.
Yeah.
Which it's but the thing about it is, it doesn't belong to me, and it doesn't belong to Cabana Wife. It belongs to Cabana Wife's son.
Yeah.
It started out, I don't know, when he was a little kid. Every year they would give him a new nutcracker. He'll get one this year for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And one of the packages will be a new nutcracker. That's tradition in her family. But he won't take the dadgum things out of here.
Well, he likes them. He likes them over there.
Just leave them here. Leave them here. Yeah. I don't have any place for them. Well, we'd be very happy for Chris to come and get them and to take them and to use them and to store them someplace else. But no, they stay here. But I mean, it is something. I mean, it really is a pretty interesting collection. And the one thing that I guess I've sort of dropped the ball. In that there will be no inflatables this year. Well, I mean, you normally, I had that what was it, 27-foot Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. The year that it worked, it was great. And then it got punctured and destroyed by high winds and ended up having to go to the dump. There's no way to replace it. And so the only other inflatables that I have are two little inflatable nutcrackers. But they haven't come out of the box yet. And I'm not sure that they're going to. We've got so many things going on at this house. It's insane.
I still think you should have put a Santa suit on that giant skeleton that you had for Halloween.
Yeah, I should have just left Skelly up.
Yeah.
Put a Santa suit, a hat on him, and just kept on going. Yeah, there are actually people who do that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those skeletons. Some people find reasons to keep them all year long.
I believe it, man.
Anyway, Cabana Wife is I mean, even as I speak, she's over now decorating a tree.
Absolutely.
We got many more trees to go. I think we're probably, we're down to 3 or 4 left to decorate.
Okay.
They're all up. They're just not decorated.
Just not fully decorated yet.
Yeah, not fully decorated. But that it's, as I say, it's a process that starts at about Halloween and gets done hopefully before next Saturday.
It's a Watertown wonderland.
It is. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about this. What's going on with the transition? There's 3 levels to the transition that we all need to be watching. You ready? Number 1 is, is he going to get the people that he wants for his administration, the secretary positions, the ambassador positions. There's a laundry list of positions to be filled. Many of them need Senate confirmation. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. The other thing is him getting ready to impose policies on day one. Here's the thing. Most presidents come in for their first term. They don't know what they don't know. They're not familiar with the processes, and it's a learning process. There's a learning curve. Many people, you bring in experienced hands who know how the drill works, but it's a learning curve. He's already been through that. He's already learned a lot by being the president earlier before. So he knows exactly what he wants to do, hit the ground running, and he wants to have a bunch of policy changes. That's the level 2. And what is he proposing? What can he get done? What can he accomplish? Then the third thing is you got to watch the Democrats because they're doing everything they can to undo the momentum that Republicans have had with this election. They want to stymie the progress of the new administration. So there's 3 things we're watching. First of all, let's go to the people that he's choosing. Well, the way this works is, you make a nomination and then you have to go up on Capitol Hill and you have to meet with senators because the Senate advises and consents. That's what the Constitution says. You got to advise and give your consent. And you need, in the Senate, 50 votes. There are 53 Republicans going to be in the new Senate. And you got to have 50 votes because then J.D. Vance could come in and break the tie. You can only afford to lose 3 votes. The one who seemed to be in the most trouble initially was Pete Hegseth. All kinds of allegations that have been leveled, nameless, faceless allegations, which he has denied strongly. And there for a while, it looked as if there might be, he might be on the bubble. As I said, I think last week, when I came on Tuesday of last week, I said, I think he's on the bubble. I'm not sure. Could go either way. Situation fluid. By the time 24 hours had passed, that whole situation with Pete Hegseth had improved dramatically. So dramatically. You got the folks at Fox and Friends who stood up and said, no, these allegations don't match anything that we know about him, and we've been sitting next to him for a number of years, and we've never noticed any of these things. Some other work was done behind the scenes to try to lay waste to some of these allegations that seem to be coming from nameless, faceless people, Jane Does, etc. And so there's been work to try to to sort of bat back those allegations. And one way or the other, it seems that it's been very successful. I'll tell you, perhaps one of the most impressive things was having Pete Hegseth, believe it or not, going on the Megyn Kelly show and having a long conversation in which he laid out all the things that were wrong about the allegations and how they were wrong. And then he sort of left people with this idea. Look, I went to some tough places when I was in the military. And as you know, it's not surprising when people come out of some of these tough places, it takes them a while to sort of reintegrate into society. And maybe, things went a little off the rails there during some of that time. But I got it back under control. And I'm a redeemed man. And that was backed up by people who have known him over the last so many years that he's been on Fox, saying, this is the guy we know. And you know what? That did a lot of good, I think, to explain to people, okay, maybe there's a nugget here or a nugget there. Certainly, nothing that should disqualify him. Is it being blown out of? Yeah, listen, the one thing you got to know is that the Pentagon does not want Pete Hegseth. There are a lot of high-ranking people I think the rank-and-file people, I think the soldiers out on the field, they want a guy like Pete Hegseth, but there are a lot of people really worried because Pete Hegseth is going to do what? Upset the status quo. So the long knives are out. And all of these, nameless, faceless allegations coming from the dark corners of the swamp seem to have been put away. It seems as if things are happening. The one person who was a tough sell was Joni Ernst, who is a Republican senator from Iowa, and she is a military veteran herself. She has some disagreements with Pete Hegseth about women in the military, and has some real concerns about some of the allegations that have been leveled. There have been a number of meetings, and Pete Hegseth has done everything that he can to try to answer her concerns. And it does now appear to me that Pete Hegseth is going to be supported by Joni Ernst. And so that is very, very helpful. You get 50, 51, 52 votes. Maybe you don't get all 53. There's Lisa Murkowski. There's Susan Collins. But it doesn't sound like there's going to be any problem. You know who thinks that there's no problem here? Tom Cotton, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas.
I expect a Republican Senate is going to confirm all of a Republican president-elect's nominees. I had a good meeting last week with Pete Hegseth and with Pam Bondi. I know many of these nominees. 2 Arkansans have been nominated as ambassadors: Marco Rubio, Kelly Loeffler. Doug Collins and I served together. In fact, if you go back 32 years to Bill Clinton's transition, there are only 2 nominees out of 72 cabinet secretary nominees in which senators of the president-elect's party voted against him. So no one should be surprised that a Republican Senate is going to confirm the Republican president-elect's cabinet secretaries.
Still a lot of things to watch here, but it looks like right now things are on the beam for Hegseth and the other nominees like Tulsi Gabbard. Maybe RFK Jr. is one to watch, but I'm feeling pretty good about everything else. 20 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock. You know what? Let's talk about the folks over at Stoltz Co. If you need a pole barn, if you're in the market for a pole barn, you need to talk to the brothers that run Stoltz Co. Two guys who are into exceptional quality craftsmanship and fair prices. They can build you a new pole barn to your specifications with your needs in mind, and that is the Stoltz Co. difference. Now, maybe you have a piece of land. Are you doing anything with that land? Are you investing in that land? Why don't you build something on that land? Maybe you could build a barn-dominium, a place to go to when you retire, or a place to go on weekends. Pole barns can be used for a lot of things. You can make a garage. You can make it an equestrian space. How about doing a big event space that you can rent out to others for the weekend? One way or the other, I want you to do me a favor. Go to their website, stoltzco.com, STOLTZCO, stoltzco.com. Take a look at what they've done for other people, and then you're going to get it. And then you're going to want to call, and here's the number, 615-622-5992. That's 615-622-5992. Learn more by going to the website again. That's stoltzco.com, stoltzco.com.
Hear the CEO shooting suspects outburst heading into court today in Tennessee. Lawmakers to debate penalizing mailing or delivering abortion medication to Tennesseans. That coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom, getting it all done there, and Jeff Malinoff in the control room. And out at Nissan Stadium, your friend and mine, Matt Murphy, we are trying to make sure that a lot of kids who might not have a very good Christmas otherwise will have have something under the tree on Christmas morning. So, Matt, take it away and explain what's happening out at Nissan Stadium today.
Well, you're right, Brian. The entire team is out here, including Super Talk 99.7 WTN and a lot of our sister radio stations at the Salvation Army Toy Field, benefiting the Salvation Army Forgotten Angel program, brought to you by First Horizon Bank. And, obviously we're begging of you to give, dig deep as you can. If you're out and about doing some holiday shopping, come on out. Grab an extra unwrapped toy or a gift for a senior and bring it by today at Toy Field. We're going to be here until at least 6 o'clock and probably a little bit after as we pack up. So don't worry about the timing on this thing. We're at Gate 6 this year, and that's the big thing to remember. If you've done this before, normally we're on the other side of the building, the interstate side. We're on the river side of the building. That is Gate 6. And if you stop by and see us, you'll see me. You'll see the team from our sister station, 104.3 The Zone, or 104.5, I should say, The Zone. And everybody's out and about and in a festive holiday mood. As a matter of fact, Brian, I've got a question for you and the team back at home base, and that is, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Because this has been a big debate that's been going on for the last hour or so. Favorite Christmas movie. Brian, you got an idea?
Well, there's several. I love White Christmas with Bing Crosby. I mean, that's a really, really old one. But my favorite one, modern day, has got to be Buddy the Elf.
Oh, yeah, the Elf is a good one. So we did the same thing, Brian. We kind of subdivided into sentimental versus more comedy-based. And my sentimental has always been It's a Wonderful Life. The ending scene, It's a Wonderful Life, gets me every year. But for me, it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But you can come out here and debate that with us. Toys Gathered are going to ensure that children on the Salvation Army Angel Tree will have a very happy Christmas morning. And you know the drill, folks. Just give as you can, new unwrapped toys. We'd love to see you at Nissan Stadium, Gate 6 for our big toy field.
All right, thank you very much, Matt Murphy. Listen, folks, if you can contribute to this, you will really change the life of some young people. I mean, no young person, the young people, they just deserve to have a good Christmas. And mom and dad, maybe for one reason or another, have found themselves in a position where they don't have a lot of money for this kind of stuff. It can happen to the best of us. So, if you feel like you can, go on out there and try to make a contribution to Matt or to the Salvation Army. Even after we're gone, that's a good way to do it, because they will do everything they can to make sure that if a kid needs a gift on Christmas morning, that they're not going to be disappointed. And that, I think good work being done there by the Salvation Army, and thanks to Matt Murphy and everybody out there for being there as a collection point. We do a lot of good every time we do this each year, and one of my favorite days of the year. It's 28 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Listen, we're talking a little bit about the transition situation with Donald Trump, and had all his nominees look like they're going to get through. But what does Donald Trump want to do on his first day in office? A lot, and he's telegraphing a lot of it. Some of it controversial, some of it you and I would support it, but it's not going to fly in some quarters, or it's not going to be easy in some quarters. What can we tell you about it? We're going to get into all that coming up in the next half hour, and we're also going to be talking about what the Democrats are doing behind the scenes to try to thwart. That's right, they're thwarting. I like that word. Thwart.
Thwarting.
It's fun to say. Let's just all say it together because it's fun. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thwarting.
That's right. We're thwarting. They're going to thwart what the Republicans are trying to do. We'll talk about that as well. Right now, time for the news with Ken Weaver at 5:30.
$5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, tracking the potential for snow. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Well, the man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is challenging extradition from Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione yelling at the media as he entered the courthouse in Holliesburg, Pennsylvania today.
And it's clearly out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
Police had to drag him into the courtroom. His defense was given 14 days to file a formal challenge to his extradition to face second-degree murder charges in New York. Another health scare for the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. His aides say the 82-year-old tripped during a lunch with fellow Republican senators today. A spokesperson says McConnell got a cut to his face, sprained a wrist, but was cleared to resume normal business activities. And later tonight in Middle Tennessee, Christian activist Pastor John Amanchukwu will address a local school board meeting about explicit content in books in school libraries.
I'm going to the Murfreesboro City Schools to speak at a school board meeting there. I have about 3 minutes to speak. We're going to touch on issues germane to their budget. You know, there's a lot of funding that's being spent in that district. And so I want to have some conversations about that, okay? What else are we spending money on?
Pastor Amanchukwu telling WTN's Chris Hand show he'll speak on the gender identity book titled It Feels Good to Be Yourself for ages 4 to 8. He says it's on the shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. Pastor Amanchukwu says he has spoken at school board meetings in 17 states, most recently at the Albuquerque Public Schools Board of Education meeting, where he was given just 1 minute. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Over here on the West Loop, we've got a stalled vehicle blocking the right shoulder eastbound right before 65 West. And then we still have that tractor trailer blocking the right lane of 40 eastbound, about 80 miles west of Nashville. That is causing a near 2-hour delay there between exit 133 and exit 137 eastbound 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You've heard me talk time and time again about United Structural Systems. They're known for foundation repair, waterproofing, and concrete leveling. They've been around since 1994 with more than 25,000 satisfied residential customers. They're good people, by the way. I've had them come out to my house. For example, you know, I've talked, how many years have I been telling you about if you see this thing with cracking bricks or the stair steps crack in the masonry mortar joints, that you may have a real foundation issue that needs to be looked at? Turns out I had that problem. Had it in a couple of places. One that I noticed, another that they spotted. When they showed it to me, I said, wow, I just completely missed that. They came out and fixed it, and you can't even see where they fixed it. It's now stable, not a problem anymore. They also went underneath my house and they said, Brian, you got too much moisture in your house. That's a problem. Moisture under your house is not a good thing. Now it's dry and it's been cleaned up and it looks great. It used to be a pretty scary place. I didn't want to go under there. Now it looks great. And I don't have any wet spaces. They've taken care of that. And that means that the health of my home is going to be good going forward. You know, another thing they do, I didn't have this problem, but they have concrete. You know, maybe you have concrete that's sloping or sinking or settling in somewhere, and you want to get it all nice, level, and plumb. You know, you don't have to break it up and start over. Don't replace it, raise it. They have this polylift system. It's amazing, and they can put it back just like it was brand new, plumb and level. What you need to do is reach out and have them come out and tell you, look at your situation and talk to you about how they can make things better. 615-488-7855. Learn more at ussTN.com. There it is. That festive music means it's time for the three amigos to gather. So let's see what we can do about that. Oh, there is amigo number one in the newsroom. He's Ken Weaver. Hey,
good
Ken.
evening, boys.
And then Jeff Malinoff is in the studio. He's amigo number two today.
Yes.
And for Chris Weber, who's he's slacking off. That's all it is to it.
He's had multiple of these weeks off in the past month. It's suspicious.
Yeah, well, I guess when you've been working for the station as long as he has, you get a lot of vacation time accrued.
Yeah, he's probably curled up with a blanket and a hot cup of cocoa and a book.
And a good book.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like Chris, doesn't it? And I'm
with some heavy metal playing in the background.
Yeah, and I'm amigo number three. That's right. He loves his heavy metal. I'm amigo number three, and together with today, that makes up our three amigos. I don't know. Before we get into, I know we all look for some kind of weird thing to talk about, but I would like to talk a little bit about the impending Christmas season. Mm-hmm. Matt Murphy raised a good question. What is that favorite movie of yours?
Oh, I was thinking about this too.
Let me tell you what happens at my house. First of all, I mean, in my house, I don't know, about Halloween or so, we start. For some reason, I walk into the room and the Hallmark channel is on, and I say, sometimes I look and I say, I just don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do the Hallmark channel today. May I change the channel? And the answer is, yeah. I wasn't paying that close attention, but it has to be on.
Right.
And so, I changed, and I said, well, how important was it if you didn't mind if I changed it? I think it's just noise. It just has to be some noise.
Yeah, it kind of just gives you some atmosphere.
Yeah, and I will say occasionally I'll walk in and I'll get hooked into the storyline, and I'm ashamed of myself.
You have to slap yourself into reality.
I know. I go, what am I doing? I'm sitting here watching the Hallmark channel. And, it's always an incredibly good-looking woman and an incredibly looking guy, a very handsome guy. Everything is... every frame of these things, the lighting is perfect.
Everything.
The background is always slightly out of focus, and everything looks warm and inviting, and it's just, you can't find anything that looks like it's out of place. Everything is just perfection in these movies, and it's usually, a lot of times it's like a guy who's a prince. Mm-hmm. And then the woman is somebody who gets hired by the prince to take care of their kid or something. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of royalty in these things. I don't know, probably about half the stories involve a prince.
Yeah.
Or a princess.
Or a princess.
It's
right.
just flipped around.
Then the woman becomes a princess.
Yeah.
That's what always ends up happening. And and then there's that moment in every one of them where you're sort of rooting for these two people. Oh, they keep missing each other. They can't quite figure it out. And then first there's a horrible misunderstanding at some point, and then there's that moment where they almost kiss. They almost kiss, but they don't kiss because something happens that interrupts them every single time you say kiss that girl, and something happens.
Yeah.
And they don't kiss until the very end.
Right. Yep.
It sounds like it sounds like PTSD. You're just going through all this again. It just comes screaming back to you.
I know. But so that happens a lot. But lately we've been trying to get out of that and watch movies. Our favorite, I think, every year for a laugh is Elf.
Oh, it's great.
Can't beat it.
It's one of the funniest movies ever. And somebody said, "What's your favorite line?" I said, "Ooh, he's an angry little elf."
Yeah.
It's always great.
That's a scene that just puts me out every time.
I like it when he calls his dad 2 minutes after he's left the apartment.
Hey, Dad.
I painted a picture of a butterfly.
Will Ferrell is talented, man.
I think that is the perfect. I can't think of anybody else who could have done that.
No.
To perfection like Will Ferrell did.
Right.
No, that there's this wide-eyed innocence in this, 40-year-old man.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. There's no one. It's not possible.
Well, and who? I cannot remember the actor's name who played James Caan. How they got James Caan to play that role is great. And I understand that James Caan did an interview where he said, and, may he rest in peace, But he said the part where he's trying to put Buddy Elf to sleep, but Buddy Elf keeps tickling him.
Right.
He said he was really, in real life, he was pissed off at Will Ferrell for doing that. And that Will Ferrell was kind of, just riffing.
Messing with him, yeah.
And he said he was really angry at that. And that's probably why it's one of the good scenes in the movie.
Apparently James Caan had the reputation, I'm told, because he apparently talked about this, of being very difficult on the set. I mean, when you had James Caan in the movie, everybody walked tenderly around James Caan. He barked at people. He wasn't very nice to people on the set. And I don't know why. Maybe it had to do with the role that he was playing. But in this role, he plays sort of an angry man who's completely frustrated by this situation, and until at the very end when he finds out that he's got a soft heart after all. But the bottom line is, he apparently on the first day walked in and said, "Look, I know you have this. I have this reputation. I want you to know that I'm going to be on my best behavior. Everything's going to be fine." But apparently he just was a very different kind of actor. Very, here's the line, hit your mark, say your line, get out. And was completely frustrated, as you said, by Will Ferrell, who was constantly riffing and making stuff up as he went along.
One of the greatest improv actors of our time. And then as a guy with no nonsense, I mean, that's never going to work. Oh, it did, but it's like during the shoot, it must have been extremely difficult.
I thought he was... go ahead.
I was going to say, I just never get tired of that movie.
Oh, no.
I thought it was genius to get Bob Newhart to play Papa Elf.
Papa Elf.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Newhart was he's one of my favorite comedians of all time.
And you look around there a lot of people that were in that movie are no longer around.
Yeah, Ed Asner.
Ed Asner is
It doesn't
dead.
feel like it was that long ago, but it's almost 20 years ago now.
Yeah,
it's in there.
If you notice that as a tribute to that movie behind me, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, is the looming frame of Buddy the Elf, who's very excited.
Yes. Hey, buddy. I hope you get your tree decorated.
Hey, buddy. Hope you find your father. Thank you, Mr. Norwal. I mean, I know every line in the movie just about.
Hope you find your father is a great
but
line.
is there another one, Ken, that you particularly look forward to every year?
Well, I equate two movies to my kids. The first one for me was for my daughter. She's my firstborn. And it was The Family Man with Tay Leone and Nicolas Cage. Amara was an infant, and I don't know that, they're a couple. They have an infant, and I was just kind of going through that infant stage along with them in that movie. Then the second one with my son was Polar Express.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love Polar Express. And so those two are my favorite Christmas movies, just because of my kids.
Because of that movie, The Polar Express, when my daughter was very, very small, her mom and I took her to Chattanooga.
Oh, yeah.
And we rode the Chattanooga choo-choo to the North Pole.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
And when you come on, you get on the train, and you got to be in your jammies.
Yeah,
you can't come dressed. You have to be in your jammies. So here I am, in my jammies, and my daughter's in her jammies, and my wife at the time is in her jammies, and we take this trip to the quote unquote North Pole where Santa gets on, and then you ride back, and there are candy canes, and there's hot chocolate, and then you arrive back, and then we stayed in one of the Chattanooga choo-choo cabooses.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, slept in a caboose.
That sounds fun, man.
It was great fun. All right, Jeff.
Hot chocolate.
What about you? You're of a different era of me and
True. But honestly, there's two that come to mind. One is again, every year when I'm opening presents, The Christmas Story is on. The 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
It's just a classic.
I've never watched it.
You're kidding?
Really? I have not. I know it's something about a weird lamp made out of a woman's leg. That's all I know about the movie. I've never watched it.
Oh, Brian, you got to do it.
It is good, I will say. But my all-time favorite, my brother is we're watching this, is the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Oh, yeah.
That
one's pretty good.
It's great. And Tim Allen is one of my favorite actors, and it's just a funny, you look back on it, and it still holds up. It's one of those, and the sequels are fine, but it's the original just carries its own weight. It's kind of like Elf. It aged really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. But those are my two. Like Christmas Story is good when you're opening gifts, good in the background, and then if you're actually watching one, the Santa Claus is
Brian,
mine.
the big thing in A Christmas Story is the Red Ryder BB gun.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and I have
brother.
BB guns. I love using them still this day.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to find the time to watch that sometime.
Well,
man.
you know, most of the ones that we watch are ones that we've seen, at least a dozen times.
yeah.
I still love It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh,
yes. I love White Christmas with Bing Crosby. I love the song about what do you do with the general when he's through being the general. I love all that stuff. I mean, I know every word. I know every. But the good news is that as I get older, having known the movie, it's not so much a big thing if I fall asleep at 8:30 on the couch and don't get to see the end of it because I know how it ends.
Right. That's right. It's like you said, it's just on in the background.
Right.
It's almost soothing. It's like what's happening. It puts you in the right kind of festive mood. Just puts you at ease. Just cheers you up a little bit. It's one of those things.
My 24-year-old daughter loves that movie.
Really?
White Christmas.
Yeah.
She absolutely loves it.
With the Bing
Crosby.
Man. Yeah. There's a lot to like about that movie. Is there one that you hate?
Gosh, I don't know.
There's not really. Is there like a really bad Christmas movie like everyone?
Yeah, there are some really bad ones. They're on the Hallmark Channel.
Okay, granted. So just avoid that.
Yeah, Hallmark is good. I don't know how they get away with it. So from about Halloween until well into New Year, you're still doing the Christmas movies, right?
Oh yes.
And then they do the other movies, and they have a bunch of other movies, and I've seen them all. I've seen them at least 3 times, and they all have the same plot.
Yep.
Same actors, same actresses, and then they get about halfway through the year, and they decide to do Christmas in July.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you have to do another month.
It's like
of the
CVS.
Christmas stuff on in the middle of June, July.
Entire month.
It's like CVS Pharmacy. They're decorated for Christmas in August for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Pushing the season. It's 50 minutes now past the hour of 5 o'clock. Merry Christmas from the entire family at Busy Bee. They have a limited number of 14 Sear 1 1/2 to 3 ton split heat pumps for residential unit replacements, only $6,995. This includes labor, equipment, material, and warranty. Now, this is a system that offers a great balance of energy efficiency and year-round comfort for residential homes. Listen, if you got a system that's on the brink, they don't last forever, and you need to do it, this is a good way to do it so that you'll get through the worst part of the winter. You'll be nice and toasty warm. How about a $69 mainline camera inspection from the outside cleanout or a free package upgrade for air duct cleaning? Basically, you buy a basic air duct cleaning package, and they will upgrade to the next package level for free. That's right. Get a lot more bang for your buck that way. For example, if you buy the middle tier package, they'll automatically upgrade you to the premium air duct cleaning. And get a $500 gift card after installation of a whole home main water or drain line replacement or a whole home water or drain repipe. For satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee HVAC, your rude pro partner, 615-775-7833, or learn more at busybeehvac.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
The United Healthcare CEO murder suspect lashes out, has to be dragged into court. This story and more coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so what are the Democrats going to do to stand in the way of Republicans as they take over? We're going to be talking about that. And what in the heck is going on with these drones? Drones that nobody seems to know where they come from or what they're up to. Has a lot of people on edge. We'll talk about all that coming up in the next hour, right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, listen, I want you to think a little bit differently about your Christmas gift for that special someone this year. Instead of giving them something in a box that they may or may not like, they open, they may want to return it, it doesn't fit. Hey, give them an adventure. Give them an introductory flight experience from Tennessee Flight Training. You know, I just did this. It was a blast. You will meet and actually fly with a certified flight instructor. My flight happened to be out of V&A. We circled the skyscrapers of downtown, looked down on Nissan Stadium, said we flew along the beautiful Cumberland River. You can book your flight out of Murray County or Regional or Shelbyville Municipal Airport as well. It can be just for fun. It can be your first step toward getting your pilot's license. Did you know that the aviation industry is facing a pilot shortage? Help yourself or a loved one jumpstart a new career in this in-demand, high-pressure, high-paying profession. Right now, save $50 when you purchase an introductory flight experience before December 24th. TikTok, you got to get on it. For more details, call them at 1-800-669-0250 or learn more at tnflighttraining.com. That's tnflighttraining.com. Tennessee Flight Training, an adventure they will never forget.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes, and the man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson challenging extradition from Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione yelling at the media when he entered the courthouse in Hollidaysburg.
And it's completely out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
Aaron Katursky outside the courthouse there.
He briefly tried to interrupt his lawyer, who was arguing that Mangione should not be held without bail, but instead released on some amount of bail. And at one point, the defense attorney turned to his left, pointed a finger at Mangione, and said, "Don't say a word." So he's now conferring with his client, but he will be back. Mangione will be back into the custody of the Pennsylvania Department of Correction in short order.
Yeah, the defense given 14 days to file a formal challenge to extradition. In our nation's capital, another health scare for the Senate Minority Leader, Stephen Portnoy, with the latest from Washington.
His aides say the 82-year-old outgoing GOP leader tripped during a lunch with fellow Republican senators. A spokesperson says Mitch McConnell sustained a minor cut to the face and sprained his wrist. Incoming Republican leader John Thune told reporters,
"He is fine. He's in his office."
Aides say despite the injuries he sustained in the fall, McConnell has been cleared to resume his schedule. He announced earlier this year he's stepping down as the Senate's longest-serving leader.
Right now in Tennessee, a new bill has been filed penalizing providing abortion medication to Tennesseans by up to $5 million. Brentwood Republican State Rep Gino Bulso's legislation includes the drugs mifepristone, misoprostol, and mifeprex, or RU-486, when it's mailed or delivered to anyone in Tennessee for the sole purpose of inducing abortion. The only exception would be for the drug misoprostol if it is used for treating a stomach ulcer. And happening right now in Murfreesboro, the Christian activist who has spoken in 17 states on explicit content in school library books is expected to speak at the Murfreesboro City Schools Board meeting. Pastor John Amanchukwu telling WTN's Chris Hand Show today.
I'm going to talk about a book at this school board meeting entitled It Feels Good to Be Yourself. It's a children's book, ages 4 through 8.
And it's about gender identity. Pastor Amanchukwu says it's on the library shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. That school board meeting started about 3 minutes ago in the council chambers at Murfreesboro City Hall on West Vine Street. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, south side, we've got the left lane blocked 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane. Then near the airport, 40 eastbound at Briley Parkway, the left shoulder is blocked. Out west by about 80 miles, it is getting better. Still about a 15-minute delay, though, if you're eastbound 40 there between exit 133 and exit 137. They've got that overturned tractor trailer blocking the right lane. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good evening, everyone. 7 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Hour number 4 of the drive for this 10th day of December. We're going to be here all the way till 7 o'clock. Then we'll hand it over to Mark Levin, the great one, and he'll continue on through the evening. Glad that you could be with us. We've been talking a lot today about the transition that happens in Washington and how it's going. I mean, if you missed our earlier segment, let me just give you sort of an update. It now looks to me, and I've covered a lot of these confirmation battles, it now looks to me that it's just about everybody's going to get through. I don't think there's going to be any problems. I think all the nominees will be approved, although there's going to be some tough questioning for Tulsi Gabbard. I think there'll be some tough questioning for Pete Hegseth, but I think that's in good shape. RFK Jr. is going to be a controversial one. There may be others, but one way or the other, it looks like to me that, this is going to go through, that everybody's in line, and we'll see. You need 50 votes. We will have 53 Republicans in the next Senate. And so if you get 50, then J.D. Vance, the incoming vice president, could break the tie. So you can afford to lose 3 votes. And I don't see any place where we're likely to lose all 3 of those votes. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll be watching it. It would be unusual. Generally, after an election, presidents get their nominees, especially if their party is in control of the Senate. If the Democrats still control the Senate, it'd be a very different matter, I can assure you. And that's why, you got to get in and get things going. You got all kinds of things that you want to accomplish on day one. We've been talking about not only, who are going to be filling these slots, but what Trump wants to do when he gets in, day one, get started. But don't think that Democrats are going to stand by and do nothing. Don't think that, that they're just going to roll over. Well, we lost that election. No. They're going to be working behind the scenes to do everything they can to slow President Trump's roll, to obstruct and to slow and to stymie the process. And I want to talk a little bit about how they go about that. You have all these people that have been appointed. Many of them are appointed. Many of them are party faithful. They work their way through campaigns. They get rewarded by getting a job here or a job there. And they're all over them. I mean, they're all over the federal government as appointees. But those people don't simply vanish. Those people don't simply roll over and say, okay, well, we tried. No. They'll be standing in the way this is what's known as the deep state. How does the deep state work? Well, I think it's very interesting. There's an interesting article here in the Daily Signal that kind of gets at some of this. They will be standing in their way because they will not be completely vanishing. As Trump staffs up for his second term, they write in the Daily Signal, these bureaucrats have hatched at least 3 strategies to oppose him. Returning to the left-wing nonprofit sphere to act as a government in waiting. They never really go very far. They just go into they'll be working for nonprofits with very liberal leanings. They'll be going into think tanks. They will find jobs with other Democrats around the country. But they'll be there should the Democrats be able to rally again. And they come out of whatever little job they find to serve yet again. They never really vanish. Passing new regulations to cement their ideology into the rules before Trump can reverse them, that's the other thing they'll be doing. Taking every opportunity they can to load up the Federal Register with regulations that will take a while for to undo, trying to, as they put it, Trump-proof the government. Trump can reverse them, but it may take some time. The other thing, they may take some time to figure out what they did, too. And the other thing is they will burrow into the bureaucracy to oppose him from within the same way they did during his first term. He enters office on January 20th with a mandate to drain the swamp, but the swamp is working overtime to clog the drains while it still can. So here's how the swamp is fighting back to defend the bureaucracy that Trump has promised to dismantle. Let's start with number 1, revolving door. Trump has vowed to carry out a mass deportation of illegal aliens, but it's often better for aliens to deport themselves by leaving the country on their own terms, and that's happening. Similarly, some woke bureaucrats in the administrative state have begun the process of self-deportation, electing to depart the Biden-Harris administration on their own terms before Trump forces them out of government. For example, Tracy Stone Manning, director of the Bureau of Land Management. She's getting the heck out of Dodge. She'll be taking over as president of the Wilderness Society in February. Now, the Wilderness Society, like so many other environmental groups, began with the noble goal of conservation, but really over time has become a woke activist group that opposes fossil fuels, supports diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. So she's going to land over there and work from the outside to attack the policies of the Trump administration wherever she can. You take that story, you multiply it times 10, times 100, times 1,000, and you'll see, that there's a lot of places where these folks can land, where they can still throw rocks at the Trump administration. Number two, they will try to Trump-proof the bureaucracy. Even before Trump won the 2024 presidential election, bureaucrats have been gearing up to Trump-proof the administrative state. In April, way back in April, the Office of Personnel Management finalized a rule that will make it harder for Trump to reinstate Schedule F executive order, an order that would have made it easier for the president to fire certain bureaucrats. Public sector unions have also schemed with bureaucrats to tie Trump's hands ahead of time. One of the things I read was that a great number of federal employees have signed new deals with the government that allows them to continue working from home when it is something very clearly that the Trump administration does not want. Be working behind the scenes to work from home, therefore, really slow down the efforts by doing the bare minimum they have to do to hold on to their jobs. Here we go. The National Institutes of Health has designated an official to identify political meddling in the agency's work, creating a scientific integrity council to review any such cases. Of course, political meddling is in the eye of the beholder. Conservatives rightly consider Chicken Little climate warnings, the burning of fossil fuels that will bring around the end of the world, that idea, a form of political meddling in science. It's all up to the eye of the beholder. Well, we've got this panel which says that you really shouldn't do that. And they'll raise unmitigated holy hell if they find if they don't like what the Trump administration is doing. That's just one example. Again, you write this times 1, times 100, times 1,000, you get an understanding of how they will be working to undo or to stymie or to obstruct everything that the Trump administration is trying to do. Then there's this idea of retrenchment. While some federal bureaucrats are already looking for other work, many are feverishly working to protect their jobs ahead of the Trump purge. According to the Washington Post, bureaucrats have started scrubbing social media and even changing their job titles in an effort to preserve their woke functions in the coming Trump administration. Well, is this person going to be helpful, or is this person going to be an obstructionist? Hard to know because there's no social media footprint to look at. Some agencies are reclassifying jobs with titles that could clash with Trump's agenda, especially those promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, boosting environmental justice, and fighting the effects of climate change. In other words, the EPA is working to reclassify the climate activist and purveyor of critical race theory, who got hired to further environmental justice, to hide the real reason that he or she has that job. They're burying themselves within the framework of our government. And it is so large, and it is so unwieldy, and it's so hard to find, what they're saying. They're not going to just stand by and do nothing. Sure, Republicans may have the White House. Sure, Republicans may have the House and the Senate. Sure, we may have, a Supreme Court that has a 6-3 conservative majority. But the Democrats will be trying to burrow in and do whatever they can to stymie the Trump administration from doing the things that it wants to do. Sometimes, they're working behind the scenes and they'll drag their feet. Paperwork will get lost. Feet will drag. Processes will be elongated. They'll government the thing to death. It's really a shame. This is why I have hope that there is going to be a serious effort by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk to try to undo it. It's challenging. You got to understand, here are two guys who come from the business world, no nonsense. And I have great hope that, they're going to rethink government in a big way. And a lot of this can be done by executive order. But I don't want anybody to get the idea that it's going to be easy. I don't want anybody to get the idea that, okay, yeah, that's going to be the plan, but the Democrats are not simply going to roll over. They've been playing this game for a long time. They know how to obfuscate. They know how to delay. They know how to drag their feet. They know how to stymie. They know how to get in the way of progress. I mean, have you ever tried to do anything with the government? You know how slow the process it can become? They are the people who can slow this thing down like it's molasses, like you're trying to, pour big, cold molasses. They are very good at it. So, look, it's not going to be easy. But the good news is Donald Trump has played this game before. Donald Trump knows how it works. Donald Trump's got some smart people around him and an idea that basically we're going to reinvent government. So much of it can be done through executive order. When you're the president of the United States, you are responsible for the executive branch and the form that it takes. Some of this will need congressional support, but guess what? We have that. Some of it will take a while. But all the way buried within the system are going to be Democrats who are going to be dragging their toes in the dirt, trying to slow the process. 20 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. Item Costco keeps running out of gold bars. They just can't keep them in stock. Gold's breathtaking surge this year to repeated record highs hasn't stopped the bullion from flying off the shelves. Gold is a great performing commodity, can outperform other assets in many cases. The surge has been driven by its appeal as a safe haven asset in times of geopolitical and economic uncertainty. And you know where you can get gold when Costco doesn't have any? From my friends at Nashville Gold & Coin. They sell the same high-quality products as Costco and other national online retailers. They will not overcharge you, and as a bonus, you'll be supporting a locally owned business. Kyle and Hannah are complete experts in this area, and you can count on top-of-the-line personalized customer service. Nashville Gold & Coin is the best place to buy gold in Middle Tennessee, and you'll be dealing with experts instead of some random store clerk with zero knowledge about precious metals. So make an appointment today with Nashville Gold & Coin. Just go to NashvilleGoldandCoin.com.
All right, seeing a crash right now, 24 westbound at the Shelby Avenue, exit 49 there on the east bank. Then we've got one in Rutherford County. This is going to be 24 eastbound right there at Waldron Road in Laverne. Right lane is blocked. We still have an overturned tractor trailer blocking the right lane of 40 eastbound, about 80 miles west of Nashville. That is between exits 133 and exit 137. And a brand new accident now just popping up in Williamson County. Going to be 65 southbound right after 8:40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hear that CEO murder suspect lashing out. Officers dragging him into court today, and a federal judge temporarily stopping what would be the biggest U.S. supermarket merger ever. These stories and more at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 25 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Trump has apparently got real problems with the Department of Homeland Security as it exists now. You know, they tried to shoot the man. They shot him in the ear. They tried to assassinate the man, and then there was another attempted shooting. Thank goodness the Secret Service stepped in and solved that problem before it got out of control. But the question is, what is the Department of Homeland Security doing? On the golf course incident, they've been trying to get information. Trump has been trying to get information. And the folks on Capitol Hill who have been investigating this are trying to get information from the Department of Homeland Security. And so they go to the DHS and they say, look, you got to give us these documents. We have an obligation of oversight here. And they can't get them. The golf course incident, here's the headline from FoxNews.com. Trump shooting task force says DHS Secret Service have not produced documents on the golf course incident. The task force called on Congress to consider pulling Secret Service from the Department of Homeland Security, which in my mind would be a tremendous thing. Such a tremendous thing. The Department of Homeland Security has become a behemoth. I mean, there's too many things that they're doing. And for the Secret Service, they have one specialized task. Well, actually two. They investigate crimes against the Treasury, counterfeit money, that kind of stuff. But the main thing that the Secret Service does is that they protect the president. And then for many, many years, they were under the Department of the Treasury. That changed after 9/11, and I don't think it changed for the better. I think that the Secret Service got lumped in with a bunch of other agencies and did not get the attention that it needed. And I think there are people who came in during the Biden administration who changed the nature of that particular agency. They forgot what their mission was. They lost track of their mission, which is to protect, the president, the vice president, family members, and others on the staff at the White House and ambassadors, etc. That's their job. That's what they do. And they lost focus. And I think it all had to do with their whole idea, well, we need to be more woke, we need to be more DEI and all of that. But as it turned out, the focus on that thing took their eye off the ball. And now they have the temerity to say, we're just simply not going to give you the documents that you asked for, Congress. How can they get away with that? They're playing for time. And then what will happen? You know? By the time the Trump people get into office and they can actually dig up these documents themselves, it'll all be sanitized. It'll all be sanitized. So, again, outrageous activity by the Democrats. They're dragging their feet. They're playing for time. And let's see if they can, I have a feeling they'll probably succeed in some of this. There's no time to work it through the legal process. And then, what in the world is going on with these drones in New Jersey? I have a little experience with drones. I have had several drones, and as a photographer, I really enjoy using them as an aerial platform for photography. I'm not spying on anybody. I just like to take pretty pictures, and they're interesting. But these drones that are showing up in New Jersey are not the kind that I would buy. These are big, hefty military-grade drones. Military or police-grade drones that are, they're huge. And nobody seems to know who they are, who's controlling them, what it is they're trying to spy upon, but they are looking at some infrastructure, they're looking at a lot of areas, a lot of things that are sort of sensitive areas inside New Jersey. And they keep showing up night after night after night. And the FBI says, we don't know what's going on here. Mystery New Jersey drones go dark when spotted, said the governor. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said the recent drones which have been sighted in the state are very sophisticated, saying the minute you get your eyes on them, they go dark. In a Monday press conference, Murphy acknowledged public frustration about the recent surge of mysterious drone sightings, but emphasized that authorities have found no evidence of a threat to public safety. They're sure making a lot of people nervous, though, aren't they? The most important thing to say is that we don't see any concern. But how can they say that when they don't really know what they are? Oh, yeah, there's nothing to worry about. Well, what are they? Well, we don't know.
I think they need to catch one of those drones.
That's a hard thing to do. Apparently, a very difficult thing to do. I guess you have to get close enough to try to shoot one down. They're by the way, they have. When I say shoot them down, you could shoot them down with like a shotgun.
Yeah.
But there's another way to do that, and that is to jam the signal so that they sort of lose their mind and just fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
And then you got to find where it fell.
Wow.
It's a difficult task. Remember they had all of those weird drones in eastern Colorado that were sighted night after night after night after night. Hundreds of drones, and nobody knew who they belonged to. And then they just vanished. And we never did solve that mystery. I don't know. It is very interesting. I don't know if, but it has a lot of people's attention. And in New Jersey, people are demanding answers, and the officials don't have any. How bizarre is that? 31 past the hour.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson now challenging extradition from Pennsylvania. And Luigi Mangione was yelling at the media as he entered the courthouse there in Hollidaysburg.
And it's clearly out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
His defense was given 14 days to file a formal challenge to his extradition to New York. Right now in Nashville, Metro Police say they used a helicopter and canines to arrest 10 teenagers from 2 stolen cars they were using to commit armed robberies. They say they tracked down a stolen Kia Soul and a Nissan Maxima, watched as the kids in the Maxima tossed guns out of the windows as police moved in. The Kia Soul had 6 teenage suspects in it, including the 14-year-old driver. Money News. Here's Michelle Franzen.
Markets had a slide in Tuesday trading on Wall Street. The Dow lost 154 points at closing. The S&P 500 dropped 18 points, and the Nasdaq down 49 points. A federal judge has temporarily halted a proposed merger between supermarket giants Kroger and Albertsons. The Federal Trade Commission filed a suit to block the $24 billion deal. Boeing has resumed production of its best-selling plane, the 737 MAX, for the first time since September, when about 33,000 workers went on strike. The Federal Aviation Administration is limiting production of MAX jets until the agency reviews quality and safety issues. President-elect Trump posting on social media today, promising that under his administration, any company investing $1 billion or more to create products in the U.S. will receive, quote, expedited approvals and permits, including environmental approvals.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got a crash right now in Rutherford County, 24 eastbound, blocking the right lane there at Waldron Road in Laverne. Then Williamson County, 65 southbound right after 840. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, I got to tell you, the folks over at Restoration Wellness and Med Spa have been very good to me. And as a result of the weight loss program that I've been on over there, I have lost well more than 30 pounds. I mean, when I walk into people who haven't seen me for a while, that's the first thing they comment. Man, you look great. What happened? Restoration Wellness and Med Spa is what happened to me. That's one of the things they do. They are also the leader in advanced therapy treatments for arthrosis and chronic pain in Middle Tennessee. Chronic pain affects 20% of all adults in the U.S. Chronic pain increases with age, and by the time you get to be 65, 50% of all adults have chronic pain. Well, don't let chronic pain control your life. Restoration Wellness has the newest technology in joint injections, a minimally invasive treatment to relieve pain without needing surgery. Restoration Wellness joint injection treatments can help relieve anything from shoulder pain, hip pain, knee pain, everything in between. They put together personalized treatment plans specific to your needs. So let the team at Restoration Wellness help you achieve your health goals this year. Call the Restoration Wellness team today at 615-470-8124 or visit them at their website, restorationwellnessmedspa.com, to book a consultation today. My friends Carly and Jamie will take good care of you like you're part of the family. Say goodbye to your chronic pain and get a new lease on life.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
It is, let's call it 39 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. We're going to be here all the way up until 7 o'clock, and then Mark Levin will take over, as he always does, on this Tuesday, December 10th. Hope you're doing well. Okay, a lot of things that I want to try to get to that I think are very interesting. You know what? It really is sad, and I think it's a real commentary on where the Biden administration has left our economy, to look at the fact that so many people have found themselves unable to achieve the American dream. That's right. I mean, most people, the American dream is that you make enough money that you can invest and have a home of your own. Not one that you rent, not one that belongs to somebody else, but a home that you can call your own. It's getting so far out of reach because of interest rates going up and the economy being such a mess that this is where we are today. Wall Street Journal. Wall Street is betting billions on rental homes as ownership slips out of reach for many Americans. Build-to-rent homes offer upscale amenities and desirable locations. I heard this not long ago, even in our area. In places, in the surrounding the Metro Nashville area, that rental companies were going up and buying in whole subdivisions before they ever went on the market. So a builder comes in, they start building a subdivision, they hope to sell the home to people, and then somebody will come in and say, I'll buy all of these homes, and we're going to turn them into rental properties. In many, many neighborhoods and communities all around the area, it's really hard to find people who have their own home because all of the homes in a certain neighborhood can actually be owned by rental companies. You know what? I dealt with some of those folks. They don't care one whit about you, those rental companies. It's a business. And getting somebody on the phone to answer, it's not a good experience at all. Getting somebody on the phone to answer a question or to get something done on a house that needs to get fixed becomes a very trying experience. In my experience, what I found is that, you end up sitting on hold for 2 hours to get somebody on the line in Scottsdale, Arizona, who will not, at the end of the day, be able to solve your problem. It's maddening. And if you try to call somebody locally, good luck. It is maddening. And, but beyond that, it's really sad that people are not getting the situation where they can make enough money, get ahead of the game enough, put a little money aside, put down a down payment, get a decent loan at a decent rate, and own a home. A 45-year-old woman's basketball coach moving from Alabama to Florida, where she looked to buy a home for herself and her infant daughter. She became discouraged by the limited selection, steep prices, and high mortgage rates. Then Harlow looked at similar homes for rent. In July, she moved into a 4-bedroom house with a backyard, porch, patio, garage, part of a single-family rental neighborhood known as Oak Grove, about 40 miles north of Orlando. Her landlord is Main Street Renewal, a subsidiary of the large real estate investor Amherst. She says, I've been able to make it my home. She didn't regret the decision, but it's not really her home, is it? You're not making an investment. You're not building any equity. You're not investing for the future. I moved into this house out here in Watertown, bucolic Watertown, and I was shocked to find out how much the property, even in this incredibly rough environment with high interest rates, how much the property has increased in value. It is by far my best investment. Now, I'm not ready to sell. I'm not ready to cash in. But with a home, you have equity. With an equity loan, you can then do things. You can invest in a business. You can invest in home improvement. You can better your life, send your kids to college. All these things are possible when you have a home that you own, and that home continues to grow and grow and grow in value. Sadly, so many people, that is out of the reach of most Americans because the economy's been wrecked and the interest rates are way too high. If you are it doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. There's two kinds of phones in the world. There's really, it seems to come down to the Android and the iPhones. And the Android people think they have the superior phone. And the iPhone people think they have the superior phone. And that debate can go on. But the FBI is warning that if you have either one of these phones, if you, for example, you have an Android and you try to text somebody that has an iPhone, you are putting yourself at cyber risk. Have you heard this? The FBI and a leading federal cybersecurity agency are warning Android and iPhone users to stop sending unencrypted texts to users of the other operating system. There was a big hack called the Salt Typhoon hack of several major U.S. telecommunications providers. And what it means is the FBI and the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, have warned that the Salt Typhoon cyber breach conducted by actors in China accessed call records, live phone calls of certain specific targets, and system companies used to handle court orders from law enforcement and intelligence agencies to track calls. While the breach is yet to be remediated, officials are encouraging users to communicate using encrypted messaging systems. I mean, one you hear about all the time, I'm not sure it's much better, is WhatsApp, which is completely encrypted. I don't know if that's the right answer, but one thing you got to be very careful. Now, it's not just that if I text somebody with my Apple iPhone that has an Android, it's not just that somebody might be able to read that text. You say, well, it's not much importance, and it's rudimentary, unimportant stuff. If they saw it, no big deal. It's more than that, in that apparently that process allows them to get a hold of your phone and look much deeper. In the meantime, it is suggested that you be very careful about texting somebody. If you have an iPhone that has an Android, or if you have an Android, texting somebody with an iPhone, better to call them or get one of these fully encrypted apps that allow you to text. But that it means that the other person has to have it as well. It's a real problem. In the meantime, be careful. What happened to Matt Gaetz? Matt Gaetz, he's going to be, the Secretary of Defense. Was it Defense? No, not Defense. What was he going to be? I forgot. Secretary of State, Attorney General. That's what it was. Attorney General. Sorry, man, so many people. Got to be the Attorney General. That washed out. But apparently, Matt Gaetz has landed on his feet. He's going to be on One America's News doing his own program. OAN is a broadcast via 85 stations across the country. They have a streaming app as well. Its cast of anchors, relatively unknown before joining the network. OAN originally existed among DirecTV channels, but that no longer happens. Now Christmas came early, they say, with the Matt Gaetz show. He's going to be part of the OANN family. The former congressman had been offering personalized roast, pep talks, or special occasion videos on Cameo, starting at $400, a price tag that has gone down by over $100 in the week since he launched his account. Once a customer orders a video, they're free to share the video to the public. His account remains active, but customers have given him 5-star ratings. Gaetz withdrew from the nomination to be Attorney General, but now apparently has landed at OAN, coming to a television or a computer streaming service near you. Let's see. We want to go to the moon. NASA says that that's something that they want to do, but it seems that NASA keeps pushing back and pushing back and pushing back. And now they've done that again. The Artemis mission, which will send 4 astronauts on a flight around the moon, will now be delayed until 2026. It's already years behind schedule, which you say, okay, well, no great loss, I suppose. Well, yes, because the Chinese are very anxious to go to the moon. And if you have the Chinese on the moon and we aren't there as well, I think it gives them a military advantage. So it's been delayed until 2026. The delay also pushes back the expected timeline of a subsequent Artemis mission to land on the moon. NASA Administrator, short-time Administrator Bill Nelson said that under the new timeline, the U.S. will be on track to put astronauts on the moon before China does, but it's not at all clear what China's timetable is. Yeah, this is a shame. Why is it that we keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back? The one thing that I will say is that with the Trump administration and a new NASA administrator and Elon Musk, they might get this thing back on schedule. But at the moment, our efforts to go back to the moon and then onto Mars keeps going back further and further and further. Look in the northeast sky. You know what you'll see? Jupiter. It is so big in the sky that you can actually see its moons with binoculars. So if you see something in the sky that looks very bright, ladies and gentlemen, that would be Jupiter. So it's a beautiful sight in the northeastern sky. 50 minutes now past the hour of 6 o'clock. Grace Point Healthcare, affordable, convenient, comprehensive medicine. They're known for their basic smart care plans, which start at $69 a month, includes free office visits, free basic labs, and diagnostic tests. And at Grace Point, you are usually seen the same day or the next day, and there are no long wait times in the waiting room. With this weather going like it is right now, hot and cold, allergies can be a real problem. And so if fall allergy season is here for a few more days, don't suffer through another seasonal change. Get testing and treatment and enjoy the beauty of fall this particular year. Grace Point is a military veteran practice located in the heart of Franklin. Call this number, 615-599-6868, to schedule your next medical appointment. Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.